going on, man?
I just wanted to report a murder that I did a long time ago.
Okay, a long time ago?
Yeah.
Or today?
A long time ago.
What is that?
I buried him in his house.
This is a long time ago, is what he's saying.
I'm just tired of covering it up already.
Try to cover it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm tired of living with my wife, sir.
The guilt?
Hell yeah.
On May 1st, 2023, New Mexico police received a phone call from a gas station in Roswell from Tony Peralta, who confessed to killing a person.
Sir, tell me exactly what happened.
Well, I killed somebody.
You killed somebody? What's your name, sir?
Tony Peralta.
In response to this call, detectives went to meet the caller behind this voice. His shocking confession was just the beginning of unraveling the truth behind the disappearance of an elderly man, a case that had faded into the shadows of dusty case records. Although Tony's straightforward confession might seem a bit bizarre, what drove him to confess was the guilt he was carrying.
I just wanted to report a murder that I did a long time ago.
Okay, a long time ago?
Yeah.
Detectives at this point didn't know what Tony meant by long time ago, but as he was arrested and taken into custody for questioning, the details of this case gets even more shocking.
Would you show me where it's at?
What?
If I took you, would you be willing to show me where it's at?
Do I have to get it right now?
Well, that way we know where the house
I'll
is.
take you.
Okay. I'll let you finish your thing.
Let's go.
Okay. You don't want to finish it? You're good there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways.
All right, just hang on, okay? Relax. No. Just a name call 911.
I did.
Little did anyone know that the confession of this caller would lead to the discovery of a horrifying incident that was concealed long back and leave the community shocked.
Well, it's off your shoulders now, man.
In the next few minutes, you will witness unbridled grief as it overtakes a man's years-old guilt, unraveling the secrets he had buried deep until there was no escape. However, this was just the beginning. What unfolded next was a series of events that finally unraveled the answers to many lingering questions.
Called us, but it's kind of mixed messages. You had handcuffs in here.
I killed somebody, dude, and I buried him.
Okay. Right here, are you making? Do you feel like you're able to leave if you wanted, or do you want to be here?
Hell yeah! I confessed to a murder.
Okay. How much are you ready to drink today?
A lot.
A lot?
Yeah. When you find his body, dude, it'll make you feel better. It's at his house.
That'll make you feel better?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to live with this shame anymore.
Okay, I understand that. All right, well,
it's
my understanding you're willing to
Jesus.
Yeah. It's my understanding you're willing to take us to the house.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Did it happen at the house?
It did.
It did?
I was on meth really bad.
Okay.
And I killed him because he didn't give me no money. And I buried him in his house.
In his house. Do you remember his name?
His name was Bill.
His name was Bill.
Everybody talks about it all the time.
Okay. How long ago?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Too long.
Been a little while.
Too long, boss. Don't ever say. Don't kill nobody that you don't have to.
Detectives created the space Tony needed to unburden himself and release the weight of his guilt. However, their priority was to extract every possible detail from Tony to piece together the full story of what had transpired. So the first thing that was decided was to ask him if he wanted to take them to the house where he buried some man named Bill, which he agreed on.
All right, so we're gonna go get in the car. We'll drive you to it. You show me.
I'm hot though. Will he turn on the air conditioner? It's hot as fuck.
It's so hot in here. We're gonna go downstairs. We're gonna get in the car, and I'm not turning that AC up.
All right,
I hate it up here.
All right. We're going to go down to the right and down the stairs again, okay?
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Can you hop on mine?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move some things. Back to that door.
Okay.
Go ahead. After you. We're going to go on this side, okay? I'm not cool enough. Go have a seat. All right. Wherever.
It's right here.
Next house.
This white one?
This white one here?
Yeah. I buried him in that side place right here. I killed their dad. This place.
That
Here, hey, you see this side door right here?
Uh-huh.
I buried him right there.
Okay.
like in the little building.
Yes, sir.
Hang on.
Although Tony took a big step by confessing, this was only the beginning. What followed next was quite a twist in the story that detectives didn't see coming.
Tony,
Yeah.
here's the deal, brother. We need some more details
All right, what do you
to
want?
be able to prove it.
Okay.
So let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
What year do you think this was?
I don't remember.
How old do you think you were?
I don't remember.
What does the victim look like? Or what
I
did the
don't
victim
remember.
look like? What do you mean you don't remember?
I don't remember. I just know that I killed him.
Why do you know that?
Because I knew that I killed him and I kept it a secret.
Okay. Why did you keep it a secret?
Because I didn't give a
How long have you been keeping it a secret for?
long time.
Like how long?
Like 7 years maybe.
Yeah. You see how all your answers are I don't know? That's what we're having a hard time with.
Well, I said I did it.
Yeah. But we need a lot more detail than that in order to get the full picture of it, right? And if this person's dead in here and has been dead for a long time, they got a family, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the family's probably missing them.
Okay.
They probably deserve answers on what happened, right?
Yeah.
So do you want to give them that?
I was high and I didn't give a fuck.
Okay. What were you high on?
Meth.
Meth? Smoke it or shoot it?
I shot it
Shot it? How much did you use a day?
a lot.
A lot. Are you still using?
No, sir.
No.
That's
Yeah.
probably why I'm confessing.
So what was the reason that you killed him?
I don't have a reason.
You didn't have a reason? So were you guys arguing?
No, I just felt stupid one day, I guess.
You just felt dumb? What was he doing when you killed him?
Being a good man.
Was he sitting, sleeping, standing, reading, watching TV?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? But you killed him in a tub?
No,
That's what you said earlier.
I didn't say that earlier.
What did you say?
I said I killed him, that was it.
No, you said in the bathroom in a tub. How'd you kill him?
I didn't say that.
How'd you kill him?
I said I killed him, that was it.
No, you didn't. You told me how earlier.
Well, he's right there.
Well, we're gotta go see if he's in there.
Okay.
But how'd you kill him?
I killed him.
How? Did you shoot him?
No,
Did you hit him with a bat?
I killed him.
How'd you kill him?
I don't remember.
Did you stab him?
I don't remember.
You did earlier.
I did earlier.
You're just repeating the things that I'm saying now. You see how I don't believe you? If I just came to you and I just said it all the time, I don't know, I don't remember, would you believe anything I'm saying? You said, hey sir, what's the law on this? And said, I don't know. You think you trust me? That's why I'm having a hard time trusting you.
I know, I said I killed the person that was in that house.
Yeah, we're gonna go try and find him,
Okay.
but I don't have the details on where he's at.
I told you where he was at.
Where's he at inside the house?
I don't know.
Huh?
What's crucial to understand here is the stark difference between contemplating a confession for years and finally confronting it. Tony was now facing the very truth he'd feared for so long. His repeated claim of, "I don't remember," wasn't a lie, but rather a defense mechanism, a desperate attempt to bury the memory of the crime he committed years ago. Yet, with the detective's support, the walls began to crumble, and he slowly started to open up and gave the exact location of where he buried this man.
Where did you bury him?
On the side house right there.
Okay. What part?
The part right there.
Yeah, but what part of that room?
The left side.
The left side?
Yeah, if you dig in, if you pull the board up and dig them up.
Okay.
Okay.
On the left side of the building.
Yeah.
So that's towards the courthouse.
Yes.
While detectives finally uncovered the location where Tony had buried his victim, they could also now get the information of the owner of the house. The man Tony Peralta had killed was 69-year-old William Blodgett, but it was important to confirm if Tony's claim was even true. So, quite literally, they started digging for the truth. Officers then dug in the floorboards and brought out the remains of William's body. Along with the remains of the deceased, they also found a pair of shoes and what was left of his clothes.
Is that like the black tarp they put down to keep weeds from growing through? Oh, looks like a shoe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, no, that's something else, isn't it? A shoe? I think it is.
I think it's a shoe too.
But they're both in it. And it's starting to pour out. There's bones in it? Do you want Tizzy to come help you? That's weird, though.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose. Or do you want to back up? Sir? Let's pull this out.
Let's
See what?
Let's see
See if
what
you
it
can get it with the shovel. Oh no, that's a shoe.
Yep, you can see. I think it is. There's the like. I think it's the boot, and that's the bottom sole of it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because you can see they come right up right there. So we need to get that out, and that'll kind of determine a little bit more, you know?
Yeah, because that's the sole of it.
Yeah, that would go right there.
Grab it and pull and see if a foot falls out.
Okay.
This is getting very scientific. It's 7 years or more ago, I'm not going to lose anything.
Oh, check that. Yep.
After it was confirmed that Tony was actually telling the truth this whole time, he was brought in for a final interrogation. It was here that his emotions overtook him, as it was brought to light his motivation for killing William.
Tell me what happened, man.
I killed somebody a long time ago.
Okay. Why? What happened?
I don't know, sir.
I've been told his name is Bill. But it's really William, right?
I don't know.
You were living with him at the time? Okay. Do you remember what happened? Why?
I just remember I just needed to confess. That was it.
Okay. How did you do it? Do you not remember or you just don't want to say it?
I just don't want to talk anymore.
Okay. Well, it's off your shoulders now, man.
Thank you for the prayer.
You're welcome. You're welcome. No problem.
It was evident that Tony was still overwhelmed by his guilt, struggling to share the full story with detectives. Yet the detective stayed steadfast and patient, allowing Tony the space to reveal all the critical details of the crime on his own.
So, my own curiosity is, I want to know. And, I can read the reports from back then, and that's why I said the wallet thing, because that's what we were told. I know he was an older guy, and I know that you were living with him, right? And you guys were roommates. He owned the place, right?
I don't know.
But he allowed you to stay there, like you were kind of renting. Did you pay him money to live there, or?
I don't remember.
He just, okay, but you guys were living together. All right. So, what happened, man?
I don't know.
Do I look familiar to you? No? You look real familiar to me. I feel like we've talked before. Maybe I've just seen you around town. Did you use a gun?
I don't remember.
Okay. Well, how about this one? Why don't you tell me why you decided to come forward?
because my heart hurts.
Okay. He's been eating at you for a while?
Yeah.
Okay. I know this is probably a big hard decision you had to make. You've been thinking about it for a while?
Every day.
Yeah, I've never been in that position, but I can imagine how hard that decision was to step up and...
At least nobody doesn't have to worry anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine his family. You know, he was an older guy, but, you know, his family never knew what happened. And that's kind of where I stand, because I want to be able to tell them, you know, what happened. His son.
Tell them that he was a good man and I should have did what I did. You know?
Okay. Yeah, it was his son is the one that reported it to us back then about not being able to get a hold of his dad.
Why didn't anybody say anything after that? Why didn't everybody just let it slide?
What do you mean?
I don't know.
Okay. The cops talked to you back then, I assume?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It might seem bizarre to see a man casually munching on snacks while discussing a murder he committed, but stress eating is a very common coping mechanism in high-pressure situations. For Tony, unburdening himself to the law was a weight he had avoided for years. With support and compassion from the detectives, Tony did manage to open up eventually.
Give me little details, Tony. What happened?
Do I have to speak or what?
No, you don't have to, man. I'm just talking to you. You don't have to tell me anything. You don't. You don't. I just want to know the story. I'm sure the family wants to know the story. You know, things...
He was always good to me, and I took his life for no reason. And I don't have an excuse.
What did you
A lot of people have an excuse. I don't have one.
What did you use to kill him?
I don't remember.
Do you remember if it was some type of weapon or your hands?
I don't remember. All I know is that I buried him and I shouldn't have.
One of the officers told me that you had said it was some type of sharp object. Maybe like a knife or a screwdriver or something.
I don't remember.
Okay. And again, you don't have to talk to me, but please don't lie, because there's no reason to lie anymore, right?
I killed him with a screwdriver.
Okay. And is that screwdriver around anywhere?
No.
Okay. Because I know it's been a long time.
Yeah.
You got family in town here?
Yeah. That's why I wanted to confess, for they don't, nothing happens to them. It was my fault for my sin, Nobody else should suffer except this.
Your parents still around?
No.
No.
Through Tony's confession and a parallel investigation, it was revealed that William Blodgett had been missing since December 23, 2008. His son, Greg Blodgett, had filed a missing person report on January 3, 2009, 10 days after William's disappearance. During the initial investigation, law enforcement uncovered that William had a tenant with whom he had reportedly argued, and had even issued an eviction notice against. Turns out this tenant was 38-year-old Tony Peralta, who was also interrogated about William's disappearance when the case was active. However, with no concrete evidence linking him to the crime, the case went cold, and Tony was eventually removed from the suspect list. The truth remained buried for 15 years until Tony called 911 and confessed. His admission not only solved the long-standing cold case, but also revealed chilling details about the crime. Tony confessed that he was under the influence of hard drugs when he killed William with a screwdriver and buried him in his own house. As a consequence of his confession, he was charged with first-degree murder after admitting to killing his landlord, William Blodgett, back in 2008. Peralta was sentenced to 15 years in prison for second-degree murder in 2023.
The baby was actually set on fire. Oh my god.
Behind this disturbing murder of a newborn, a cold case which remained buried for 27 years, lies only one person with the answers: 52-year-old Carrie Mazuka. But little do the detectives know that they are about to confront an extremely heartless woman, desperately holding on to the last remaining strands of her lies.
My baby.
I didn't baby.
Who did?
I don't know who did.
The doctor who did the autopsy says your version's bull.
Beneath the calm denial of this mother of two lies a story soaked in cruelty, so disturbing that even seasoned detectives would be left speechless. The tragedy started on the morning of September 7, 1997, when two city workers in Albany, New York, were performing routine maintenance in Washington Park. Near the base of the Moses statue, they discovered a blue pillowcase that appeared to be partially burned, but what they found inside would leave them stunned. It was the body of a lifeless baby boy, later named Moses. However, at the time, there were no leads or witnesses, and unfortunately, the identity of the parents remained unknown. However, nearly 23 years later, in 2020, the Albany Police Department, along with the Cold Case Analysis Center at the College of St. Rose, used modern forensic technology to reanalyze the evidence from the case. After 2 years of analysis, in 2022, the lab Othram Inc. successfully managed to create a full DNA profile from preserved evidence. That profile was submitted to the FBI's forensic genealogy team, which matched it to a relative of the baby. It was through that lead that investigators identified Carrie S. Mazuka, who had been living just 5 blocks from the original crime scene. And what awaited was a shocking and roller coaster interrogation where a 27-year-old mystery finally began to crack open.
So the reason we need you to help us out here is we're looking into something that happened quite a few years ago, okay? Back in 1997. So some remains were found in Washington Park, okay? And, you know, it's been a long time since it happened. We've been kind of working on it here and there. And we've been deploying a new investigative technique, right? Do you watch, like, any of this stuff on the news, like genealogy stuff?
No.
Okay, so what we do is we kind of go to some third-party companies like Ancestry.com, stuff like that, and try and build family trees, okay? So part of that is that the remains, the DNA testing on the remains that we found are connected to your family, okay? Yeah, so it was younger, right? The remains, best we can tell. And we honestly don't know really what happened. It's just one of those things that they're trying to get us to figure out.
Wow.
And use this new, it's crazy, right? So let me ask you this. Do you know of anyone in your family that you guys could never find or anything like that?
No, I mean, I'm not close with my family, but no.
Okay. Actually, I should have started. Part of this is we're building out that family tree, right?
Right.
Like, because certain things aren't filled. Like, you know, are you on Ancestry.com? Right?
No.
Right. So that's the problem, right? So there's huge gaps. So it could show, like, Carrie Spielman, right? Her, you know, great aunt gave DNA because she's an Ancestry buff. So now we have to go out and build that out, right? That makes sense.
Yeah.
Too. So let me ask you this. You got mom, dad, obviously. Do you have brothers and sisters?
I have a sister.
Okay, you have a sister. And what's your sister's name?
Wendy Morrison. Morrison.
Okay. And is she local?
She lives in Roxbury now.
Roxbury? Okay.
She was in Watertown, and I think she went to Roxbury, Watertown, and then back to Roxbury.
DNA genealogy might not directly point towards one person, but with enough DNA samples from the family members, it can be clarified who the mother is. The detectives here are keeping their cards close to their chest with Carrie to see her responses by asking her about her sister, Wendy. Carrie is unaware that right before the interrogation, detectives already conducted what's known as a trash pull, and they collected discarded items from outside Carrie's residence in Albany. And from that trash, a profile was created that clearly matched the baby, making it evident that Carrie is the mother. However, what they need is a clear story of what happened, and with every question, they are about to close in on the truth.
Actually, I didn't even ask you. So you said you have 2 kids, right?
Yes.
Okay. Any other kids?
No.
No? Okay. No. I know it's kind of a personal question, but it's one of the things I gotta ask. How many times have you been pregnant?
2.
2?
Yes.
Okay.
Very easy, very...
Easy pregnancies?
Mm-hmm.
No issues?
No.
What about after? Because, like, my wife, she got the postpartum. Did you ever get that?
No.
Really? Good for you.
No.
It was a tough time in the lawyer household.
Was it really?
Oh, my God.
No. I had a good support system.
Okay.
You know, and they were good.
Okay.
You're the father of your 2 children, Josh and Hannah.
Yes.
You guys still together or?
No, we're divorced.
Divorced. Did you meet him in Roxbury or down here?
No, here.
Here?
We worked together. Yeah.
At Tri-City?
Nope, at Cameron.
At the Living Resources.
Yes.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
So when did you meet him? How long after you came here?
Well, I met him immediately because we worked together.
Yep.
But then we started dating probably 2 years later. He was actually engaged.
Oh, he was engaged.
He was engaged, and then they broke up, and then, yeah.
So part of this is we're going around, we're trying to collect DNA samples from people, all right, to try and match to the remains and that we're doing. Is that something you'd be able to help us out with?
Yeah, that's
Give
fine.
us a sample of DNA? Okay. Yeah, we can do that here in a moment.
So the remains were found where? Can you tell me that?
Yeah. So, are you familiar with this area at all?
Within Washington Park? I've seen it during Tulip Festival.
Okay. Have you ever been here?
Just looked, the only time I ever got to Washington Park was Tulip Festival.
Tulip Fest. Okay.
Yeah.
So where these flower beds are over here, right by this road, this is where the remains are found. Yeah. But I mean, easy
Ooh,
enough.
I'm sorry, I've got goosebumps.
Oh, it's horrible.
Ugh.
I mean, it's, you know, I'm sure whoever, you know, whatever happened, there's an explanation, because generally there's an explanation to everything that happens because it happened, right?
Right.
You know, it's just a matter of figuring it out, you know, and I think eventually we'll do that, you know, but part of that is talking to people and figuring it out. You know, we can do so much investigatively, like following DNA trails and stuff, and it is super cool, like the way this stuff works. Like, I swear to you, soon, we're not there yet. But
So how does that work with DNA? Can you pinpoint?
Yeah.
I don't watch any of those stupid.
No.
Sorry, I don't mean
No,
stupid
it's not.
shows.
You're
They're
insulting my career.
No, they freak me out.
Law enforcement's not a special thing. It's like someone figures out a cool thing to do to solve crimes.
Right.
Or, you know, figure stuff out. Because not everything's a crime. But to figure stuff out. And then everyone gets on it. Like Golden State Killer. He was a serial killer around California for years. Like numerous victims. And then they implored this technology that we're kind of using now. And they were able to link him to all these crimes from like 30 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's a
That's
game changer.
crazy.
It's actually a huge help, you know? Like, it generally does help us do what we got to do. So the way it works is, you know, we go around, we obtain DNA samples from a bunch of different people, and then we end up zeroing in and figure out who mom and dad are.
Because it's that same kind of thing where, like, everyone's DNA starts spreading out the branches of the trees.
Right.
But the more samples that we can find and we can keep comparing them, it keeps bringing us in because we find like the traits that are, you know, similar between the people.
That's amazing.
It's pretty cool.
It's cool, you know, and it's like I said, this is a baby. If you couldn't tell,
I'm gonna throw up. Like, that's gross.
I know. I mean, here's the thing though, is, you know, we're just trying to figure out what happened to it. You know, the remains, they are what they are. We're honestly trying to just fill in the blanks here. This is a historic event that happened. It is what it is. No one's changing that now. We're just trying to get some answers and figure out exactly what occurred. Whoever, the mother and father have their reasons for whatever they did. I'm not saying it's right.
Right.
You never know what kind of headspace someone's in. Like, you could look at me and I could appear put together, but I'm a mess in my personal life,
Carrie plays the part, nodding along, pretending to be impressed by the wonders of modern DNA, as if she's a curious bystander. But beneath the fake fascination is panic she can barely contain. Because no matter how amazed she pretends to be, science isn't here to entertain. It's here to expose her. And her innocent facade that she had been wearing for years was about to finally crumble.
So part of the thing is, we're asking people as we're going through. So this is a very newborn baby that gets found. And we're trying to hash that out as to exactly what happened to it. And we're just getting people's perspective.
Right.
Like, these remains, they get found in Washington Park. In your mind, what would cause someone to leave a baby in a place? Anything you could think of?
No. Because they have all those, hospitals, safe places.
Yeah, like a safe haven to leave kids.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to wrap our head around.
No idea. That's...
so there's some aggravating factors with this as well.
I think especially, how?
Right. That's what we're trying to wrap our heads around and get from people. This happened, and I think within short order, we're going to be able to figure out definitely who mom is, and then we'll work through who dad is, and, we got to collect all these DNA samples and go from there. But, the thing about this is... So, I'm sorry I got to show you this, but I do, because it is important. Okay? The baby was actually set on fire.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not only was it abandoned, but...
Oh my God.
Yeah. So we're trying to figure out exactly what happened to this baby.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because here's the thing, right? Is it could be a couple different things here. We know the baby was alive. We know it breathed, had lung flowing through its airs, was healthy, was crying. And then this happens.
Ugh.
Carrie listens as detectives calmly lay out the facts. However, her reaction is minimal, which doesn't go unnoticed. Now, they just need to see what Carrie will do with the facts laid out. And to their surprise, the truth is about to burst wide open with a chilling confession, one that no one saw coming.
So we're trying to figure out, who did it, obviously, right?
Right.
Because in your mind, you see that. What's that scream to you?
It's crazy. No.
But, as I said, everything's explainable.
Right.
But it's not me. I don't know, especially when, we can prove it.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a spot you want to be, or someone wants to be, I should say.
Right.
Right? Like if someone is truly related or the mother or father of this child, the best thing they could do when we talk to them, and this is just me thinking out loud, is the best thing they could do when we talk to them is be truthful, right? Like, yeah, all right, yeah. This is what happened, but I didn't do that, or so-and-so did that, but people that lie, that ain't going to go their way, right? Because everything gets figured out. As I was telling you, like that Golden State guy,
right,
or oldest son. Look at that, the Giglio Beach guy that killed all those girls.
Right.
They figure it out, because what they do is we end up, we go, we get DNA, we make comparisons, and God helps someone if they lie. Because all you have is your credibility, right? Because 27 years ago, baby Moses gets found here, right? And say you are mom, right? I'm not saying you are, but say you are, right? And we bring you down here, and you say, no, I'm not the mother. I was never pregnant then. What if that's not true? Like, we could figure all that stuff out, right? And then what happens is we go, hey, guess what? We found this baby, and the mother said she's not the mother. What's that scream to you? If you're like,
I did it. I did it.
You did it?
I did it.
What happened?
I got pregnant. I had the baby. I gave birth in my bathtub. Baby died. Didn't know how to get rid of it.
The confession came out of nowhere. Carrie might have simply realized there was no way out. But this was only the beginning. What followed would turn the entire interrogation into a roller coaster, one filled with disturbing, tragic details that were about to surface for the first time in 27 years.
How'd the baby die?
I think I had water in the bathtub. I think it drowned.
You drowned it?
I didn't drown it.
In that bathtub?
Yes.
Inside that apartment? Right there?
Yes.
Why did you the baby?
I didn't baby.
Who did?
I don't know who did.
Who'd you give the baby to?
I had the baby by myself. I went down to the park. I handed it to somebody.
Who'd you hand it to?
I don't know. Some random person.
Carrie, that doesn't.
I swear to God.
You did not hand this baby to a random person. That didn't happen.
I didn't know what to do. I set the baby on fire.
Was it screaming?
No, it was dead. It was dead.
So, what did you put the baby in?
A towel.
A towel? Because the doctor who did the autopsy says your version's bull.
I put it in it.
No, what I'm saying is this baby was breathing for minutes. This baby was alive.
I had it in the. I did.
That doesn't lie. This is 27 years ago. Let's clean this up. Let's be done with this here and now. That baby died, not of natural causes.
I didn't kill the baby that I'm aware of. I had it in the bathtub.
It didn't drown. There's no water in the lungs. That didn't happen. It's not of natural causes. There's no trauma, so that leaves one thing. And you know what that one thing is?
Suffocation?
This woman killed her own newborn, set the body on fire, and hid the truth for 27 years. And now, as the truth resurfaces, there's still no sign of remorse. She puts her lies over her confession like a cherry on top of a sundae. But this is where her lies are about to crumble.
Here's the thing. I get it. You're all alone in 1997. You probably moved here because you were pregnant and you were trying to hide it.
I did not. I moved here for a job.
Moved here for a job.
I didn't know I was pregnant until after I moved here.
Okay. Fair enough. And listen, I'm not disagreeing with that. It's probably true.
That is the truth.
But we know definitively that this child breathed. We know it was taking breath in its little lungs. All right? If you freaked out and did this, that's fine. We need to know. And look.
Yes.
Guess what?
The child.
With what?
I put it in the bag.
Put it in the bag? Did you cover his mouth? His nose?
I don't remember. I don't remember that part. I may have. I don't know that I put it in the bag, though.
Okay, let's talk about this. Did you hear the baby cry and screaming?
I did not.
You didn't hear the baby cry?
No, I swear. That I remember. I do not remember hearing the baby crying.
We put him in a bag, and we know he's alive. We definitely know that from the doctor. You know,
because an autopsy was completed on the baby, and that's how we know the baby didn't drown.
So that's what we need to figure out, and we honestly want to know because You know, the one thing I've consistently said about this whole thing is I have more questions than I have answers. And I hate being in that spot, you know?
Yeah.
So we're trying to figure that out, and we need to flush that out so we can all move forward. This is a long, long time ago. You know what I mean? So you have the baby in the tub. It doesn't drown.
No.
Okay?
I did have it in the tub. I don't remember covering its mouth and nose. Did I? Maybe. I do remember putting it in the bag. I don't remember hearing it cry.
What kind of bag?
I think like a Walmart type.
Like a plastic
like
bag?
a plastic bag.
Okay. And then, how'd you get down to Washington Park?
Drove.
You drove. And you're by yourself?
Yeah. 1,000%.
The detectives had their confession. But with Carrie, another lie is never too far behind. So they need to get the whole story straightened out. And while the core of the confession is over, the gruesomeness of the story isn't. And what follows would take the case to an entirely new level of horror.
Did you ever go see a doctor about being pregnant?
No.
So nobody knew?
No.
It was just, you found out and kind of kept it to yourself?
And like I said, I gave birth in the bathtub.
And then you go to Washington Park. At any point, did you see any, when you're on your way down there, did you see any police stations? Did you see any hospitals? Did you see any?
No, I did. No. They just.
You just want to get rid of the baby. How did you figure out to set it on fire?
I don't know. I don't.
Do you remember if you used matches or a lighter?
I think matches on the catalog.
Matches.
I think. Why? I don't.
So I got to ask you the natural thing, because based on the way the baby's found, did you hear scream cries as the baby was?
No, I think the baby was dead at that point.
At what point, before or after you leave your house, did the baby die?
I think before.
Before.
I don't remember it. No.
Do you remember the baby looking at you?
No. No, I think I was just so, like I said, gave birth in the bathtub, was dealing with myself. I don't think I really, I don't have, I don't remember it crying. I don't remember.
Did you remember it moving?
No, not. No, I mean, it was, I think I was just trying to take care of myself, you know?
Yeah. How'd you sever the umbilical cord?
Scissors.
Scissors. I mean, here's the thing. We know from what the doctor told us, right, that this baby was taking breaths, was alive, right? So what we need to sort out now, between us three in this room, so we can all be done with it and move on, is how exactly this baby died, right? I mean, here's the thing.
I must have suffocated it. I mean, that's all I can. My recollection, like I blocked it.
Carrie tries to use time to her advantage, counting on the fact that the case is nearly 3 decades old and memories might fade. But like every time before, her version of events is about to crumble yet again. And this is where her bizarre motive comes to light as she finally reveals the chilling truth.
We got to do an honest account of that with each other. Not I think, because this is something you don't forget. You probably haven't thought about it in a long time, but it's definitely something you don't forget.
I put my hands over its mouth and nose.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
And then you press down?
Yeah. I think.
No, not I think. It's either did or didn't. And I'm not pressuring you to say something, but I need a definitive answer here.
Yes.
Yes, what?
I pressed down.
Did the baby stop crying when you did that?
Again, I don't remember the baby crying, but it must have. I don't remember the baby crying.
I want you to think back to 1997 when you had your hand over your mouth and nose. Did you feel those little breaths hitting your hand?
Yes.
How long until it stopped?
10 minutes? I don't know.
You held your hand on the baby for 10 minutes?
I don't. Timing, I don't know.
Why?
Why did I do it?
Yeah.
I think I just had no clue I think I was just in shock.
You're in shock. Had you met Jason yet at that point?
We were working together.
Did you like him at that point?
No, he was engaged. We were just co-workers.
So this is something you were young and you were scared?
Yeah, he doesn't even know about this.
Have you ever told anyone?
No.
Nobody.
Well, never told anybody?
No.
Not mom, dad,
Nobody.
sister, nobody?
Nobody.
Just kept it inside the whole time?
Yeah.
Now, I gotta ask you this, because it's been a long time. After 27 years, how have you never told anyone?
I'm ashamed. I'm embarrassed. I blocked it out of my memory. I didn't even know today was the date. I just, wiped it.
In the U.S., during the year 1997, an average of 20 fetal terminations per 1,000 women occurred in the 15 to 44 age group, most of them being younger than 25 years old. And Carrie was 25 when she became pregnant with baby Moses, old enough to understand her options. But instead of seeking help or even informing the father, she made a fatal decision. At 25 and already working at a respected real estate firm, Carrie wasn't some confused teenager. She was a grown adult, making grown decisions that have consequences. Unfortunately, one of those decisions was murder. And by the time anyone learned the truth, the damage wasn't just done. It had been neatly wrapped and buried for nearly 3 decades. And the detectives are about to confront a stone-cold mother who doesn't flinch and sits proudly narrating the horror without an inch of guilt.
What's it feel like to kill someone?
Terrible. Terrible.
Walk me through your emotions. I always ask everyone that's killed someone, and you're not the first person.
Shame, embarrassment, hatred of myself.
When did that kick in?
Immediately.
After you did it?
Mm-hmm.
So after you pressed on that baby's face, and you recall pushing on his face?
I do now, yes.
And you felt those little breaths hitting your hand, and then you felt them stop. How long after that did you take this baby down to Washington Park?
An hour or two.
An hour or two? And that's a towel, you said?
I believe it was a towel. A blanket, a towel.
And you put...
Was it a towel?
Oh, it's like a pillowcase.
Yeah, it does kind of look like a pillowcase.
Could be a towel. I don't know. Pillowcase, towel, some sort of cloth object. Did you wrap it in that?
Yes.
But the baby was definitely dead before you set it on fire, right?
Yes. 1,000% it was dead before I left the apartment.
You killed it?
I believe it was dead before I left the apartment. I can't say 100% sure because I didn't, feel a pulse or anything. I didn't.
If you had, let me ask you this, if you had not done what you did, would that baby still be alive today?
Yes.
Anything we didn't ask you? Do you think's important?
No.
If you could say anything to that baby right now, what would it be?
I love you and I'm sorry.
If he asked you, why'd you do this to me?
I was young, stupid, and...
Yes. And it's, if I could show you the panorama one, went all the way around.
Did you ever go back to the park? No, never.
No, I've gone for the Tulip Fest or something like that.
Events, but not.
No.
Did you ever go, when you went for Tulip Fest, did you ever go to this area?
No. Just walking around with friends or whatever, but I just, like I said, I blocked it out.
Her words feel hollow, and the absence of remorse is chilling. The detective tries to bring emotion into the conversation, hoping to break through. But Carrie remains cold and detached. And yet, the disturbing story is still not over. What remains is the details of the traumatic delivery.
As you recall, the evening hours you started feeling cramping, and you believe that was you about to give birth.
Mm-hmm.
You got a pair of scissors. You went into the bathtub where you ran warm water, I would assume?
Yeah.
Where you ran warm water. And then you delivered the baby. You pulled the baby out. You cut the umbilical cord. Cut it with your right hand or your left hand?
I'm right-handed, right-handed.
Right-handed, okay. You recall baby moving around. You don't recall if it was crying, but you know it was alive because it was moving. You put the baby down.
Okay.
You cut the umbilical cord. You take care of yourself. And then you placed your hand over the baby's nose and mouth and applied pressure until the baby stopped moving. Did you know you were going to kill it when you were doing that?
Yes. I think yes.
So you knew what you were doing, but you did, correct?
Right. I knew what I was doing. I was young. I was stupid. I didn't,
Okay.
Yeah.
So you intentionally kill this baby. Then, after about an hour, you go to Washington Park and set the baby on fire. And if that baby were alive today, you would say, I love you and I'm sorry.
Yeah. Now that I'm older, wiser, have kids, and yeah.
Yeah. You're
young, stupid, and
yeah. It's a long time ago, Carrie.
a long time ago.
Carrie, do you know who the father is?
Where's he live?
I have no idea.
How'd you link up with him?
We were in Roxbury together.
Damn, Roxbury.
He's old, much older than well, not much older, but he's older than I am. And
Like how much older?
5 years. I think he's married now, and I don't know if he has kids.
And that was a consensual thing you guys had done together? That wasn't.
It was consensual. Yes, he has no idea. He didn't even know I was pregnant.
Okay, but I'm saying you weren't or anything like that.
No.
Every word out of her mouth is disturbing, but ignorance or panic doesn't excuse the murder of a newborn. Sadly, Carrie isn't the only mother who's taken such a horrifying step. It's a grim reminder that the very person meant to protect a child can sometimes be the one who destroys them. And Carrie? She's about to prove she hasn't grown wiser with time, only older.
You give me your word?
Yes. Swear. Yeah.
I don't care what anyone has done. Like
I'm in a relationship. I'm happy. I'm, my kids.
Yeah.
So now, what now?
I mean, we got to figure out what's what now. I mean, I want to honestly just take a second to process everything we just talked about, and I'm sure you do too.
Right. I mean, am I in trouble? Am I going to be arrested?
I mean, I can't definitively say that. I honestly don't know. Like, it's so long ago and there's so many variables. I'm more mainly concerned with, like, I don't care if people get arrested or not, as like just me as a cop. I never care about that. That's why I love investigations, because all I want to do is just figure out what happened.
Right.
Like, if you didn't kill this kid, great. If you did,
yes,
don't do that.
No. Right.
I mean, we got to figure it out. Give me a minute to process everything we just said here, because it is a lot. I honestly don't know, Carrie. What do you think should happen out of this?
Personally, if it was years ago, I think I should be in trouble. It's 27 years later. I've got my life back in order. I don't know.
Right.
I mean, I did it.
Did what?
I killed a child. I killed a baby.
Would you say you murdered it?
I would have to say that's what I did.
Yeah, at what point did you decide that's the burning was what you were going to do?
I started to walk away, and then I was afraid that there might be evidence on the towel. So it wasn't the baby, it was...
You were trying to get rid of the towel.
The towel. Or the whatever, blanket, towel, whatever.
Why not just take the towel?
Stupid, young, not thinking, not...
Because him and I have talked about this a lot. Like, I've really tried to get in your headspace from that time. Because I pride myself on being a pretty decent person.
I just don't think at that point, and I was physically ill too. I was kept passing out with the towel. I had wiped the baby off again, and then I think I was afraid my fingerprints or whatever would be on the towel. So I wasn't setting the baby on fire. I was setting the towel on fire.
What a saint she is. She only meant to burn the evidence, not the baby. Carrie still seems to believe that somehow makes her look better. It's clear she hasn't changed one bit in 27 years. No remorse, no guilt, just the same cold, self-serving mindset. In fact, she genuinely thinks that because the crime is decades old, she might catch a break. But she cannot be more wrong.
I mean, it happened. I was stupid. I was dumb. I was young. I'm embarrassed. And honestly, I'm kind of glad it's over because somebody else knows at this point.
You feel relieved?
I do. In a way. Yeah.
That had to eat you up.
For years it did.
Yeah.
But then
now you've made peace with it?
I did. I think after having my kids, and I don't know. I don't know if I made peace with it. I just
learn to cope with it, I should
say.
Yes. Well, that's like any trauma, it doesn't matter if it's
5 years, 20 years.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's military service, first responder, car crash.
I mean, I've had so much other crap in my life, my house robbed, my divorce, it's just.
Yeah. Someone sees this as this baby set on fire, and they're like, what monster did that? But you lay out your logic of, no, I wasn't trying to hurt the baby, I was trying to destroy physical evidence, right? So honestly, explaining things like that and talking it out, things aren't always what they appear, right? I mean, is it a killing of a human being? Yes. Yeah, it's an intentional killing, but the heinous part of it, you offered an explanation, which, okay, fair enough. So as far as dealing with that and prepping people, if that's something you choose to do, go ahead. I'm not going to tell you what to do or how to live your life.
Right.
You got anything?
Nope. Pretty good. I think we went over everything.
Do you have any questions of me? I've asked you a lot of questions.
I'm worried about my career and everything too,
Yeah. Rightfully so. You don't know. I mean, which is partially why I have to ask you, are you thinking about harming yourself?
No.
Okay.
No.
Carrie Mazuka never went to a full trial. Instead, she chose to take a plea deal. After her eventual arrest in September 2024, she was indicted and scheduled to stand trial for second-degree murder, evidence tampering, and concealment of a human corpse. However, on February 13, 2025, just weeks before the case would proceed to trial in Albany County Court, she pled guilty to first-degree manslaughter and tampering with physical evidence as part of a deal with prosecutors. On April 18, 2025, she was finally sentenced to 25 years in state prison, with an additional 1 year and 4 months to 4 years for tampering, which would run concurrently with 5 years of post-release supervision.
I did the same thing. Put it in a garbage bag.
And what did you do with the garbage bag?
I left it.
The woman you just saw is Gail Eastwood Ritchie, a 49-year-old wife and mother of 3 who lived in Euclid, Ohio. But as you go through this video, you will unravel a whole new side of this innocent-looking woman. On March 25, 1993, a month before she turned 23 years old, she tossed her newborn baby boy on a discreet side of Sidley Road in Geauga County, Ohio. She heartlessly wrapped the child in a garbage bag a few moments after it was born and left it in a remote area, hidden from unsuspecting passing vehicles. The next day, 2 newspaper delivery men found it and called the police. The child was left with no chance to survive and unfortunately was found dead. But this stirred very strong emotions in the people of the county, and the case became very popular at the time. The community even came forward and raised funds in order to have a proper funeral and tombstone for the baby. And since the baby had no identity, the tombstone called him the Geauga's Child, named after the county that claimed him as their own. All efforts were made to locate the mother of the child, but to no avail, and the case went cold. But this was until 2019, when DNA testing brought about big revelations. By this time, Gail was happily married to her husband Mark Ritchie, who had been her boyfriend at the time of the crime, and also the father of the baby. The DNA of Geauga's child was put through the system, and the police quickly narrowed down the mother and visited her home for further inquiry.
Yeah. Hey, how you doing?
Good. Listen, the Oregon County Sheriff's Office. We just want to see if we can talk to you for a couple of minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You have any idea what we want to talk to you about? Because I kind of think you might.
Well, my parents said that you were at their house.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think that's about?
It was about a baby.
Yeah. What about?
A baby that was left.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell us about it? We're not here to judge you, Gail. We don't know what was going on at the time. We don't want to speculate either, okay? So I don't think you want us to speculate. We're not here to arrest you, okay? We are here to take your DNA, okay? And we would like for you to tell us your side of the story, because we'd like to know. As of right now, you're not under arrest. You're not going to be arrested today. But we want to know what was going on. I think after 26 years, it's time. Don't you? It's had to be weighing on you.
Should we go inside?
Well, what we'd like to do is get your DNA, okay? And then we would like for you to come back to our sheriff's office so that we can talk. You're not being arrested, okay? But we need to sit down and we need to hear your side of the story. Okay? All right, so I'm going to get my stuff real quick. We're going to take your DNA here. I have a signed search warrant from a Cuyahoga County Common Pleas judge. Okay, and I will give you a copy of that warrant. You will have a copy for you to keep. The DNA process is a very non-invasive process. I'm sure your parents probably told you. Just swipe a Q-tip on the inside of your mouth. We'll collect it real quick. And then we'll go back to the sheriff's office. And at some point today, we'll bring you back here. Okay?
On May 21st, 2019, the police finally came to the door of Gail Eastwood Ritchie. She lived in a suburban area of Cleveland with her husband, Mark Ritchie. Gail's parents had been contacted by the police almost 2 weeks prior to this visit, so she had been expecting them. So far, the officers suspected her, but her reaction was a confirmation of her culpability. They would still do a direct DNA test of her and Giaga's child to confirm that Gail was, in fact, the mother. There is an evident change in her expression. Her forehead was wrinkled, and her eyes are distracted. She is finally revisiting the time she discarded her newborn child 26 years ago. To the detective's surprise, the couple only lived half an hour away from where the baby was found.
You it's okay? We have my partner who's coming in. Good. Well, is there anything else we can get you? Do you need to use the facilities or anything, Gail? No. You're sure you're okay? There's some tissues there for you. As we indicated, Gail, at the house, our intention is at this point not to arrest you. You're not under arrest, okay? And we would like to get your side of the story, though. We just didn't want to do it there in your house with your kids come in or anything. That's just not a good situation, obviously, with the topic at hand. But I do need to, because we brought you back here, I want to go over a couple of things. Again, at this point, you're not under arrest. Okay, you are free to leave. Okay, so I'm going to just read you your rights real quick. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say will be used against you in court of law. You have the right to an attorney. We'll provide one free before any questioning if you desire. You can stop answering questions anytime. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
And with that being said, we do appreciate your cooperation.
Even before bringing Gail in for questioning, officers make it a point to assure her that they only wish to find out the truth and not judge her. The topic at hand is very sensitive. There could be a lot of reasons why Gail did what she did in 1993, and an empathetic approach will allow her to open up more. The detectives have to explore the possibility that Gail may have been in a vulnerable position herself when she abandoned her child. The technique of interviewing being used here is the peace model. This is an interviewing technique that is used to ensure that the interrogators produce evidence while still taking a more empathetic approach. It has 5 stages: preparation and planning, engagement, account and clarification, closure, and evaluation. We will discuss each stage as the detectives apply them in real time during the interrogation. The first stage begins with mapping out an interrogation. They have already reviewed existing evidence and suspect information. It will help them determine the objective of the interview and what questions to ask. In this method, the interrogations are more like interviews as they are much less harsh.
Obviously you had indicated that your parents had told you that we had been out, so I'm sure that you had kind of knew that this day was coming, that we were going to be coming out to talk to you, and you know that we got their DNA, which is, what ultimately led us to you. And what we would like to do is, we're not here to judge you. We don't know what was going on in your life at the time. We know that there probably weren't as many options for people at the time, and but that being said, we'd like to, get your side of what happened.
So at that time, my husband and I were dating. We were sexually active. I did use contraceptives, but apparently one didn't work. I did not know I was pregnant at the time. I still had my menstrual cycles. And then my menstrual cycles ended up stopping.
Okay.
I don't know how long they were. You need to know that. I don't know.
But at some point during the pregnancy, they stopped.
Yes, it stopped.
Do you know about when that would have been?
They don't.
In relation, was it wintertime, or was it, is there anything you could kind of put to it that would tell you as about when those menstrual cycles stopped?
I want to say about 3 months before the baby was actually born.
Okay.
And I honestly do not remember the date or the day when the baby was born. I do know it was in winter.
The second stage, engagement, begins with the interrogations conveying the expectations of the interview to the interviewee. Ensuring Gail that the detectives only need her side of the story has helped a lot. From the beginning, they do not face any resistance from her, and she starts to confess immediately. However, one shortcoming is that there are no female detectives present at this scene. However, this is not essential, and the interrogation will continue smoothly. But it can be seen that there is some hesitation from the officers. When an uncomfortable or a more feminine topic arises, all 3 pick up a water bottle at the same time. It creates an awkward air in the room, but as the interview moves along, the interrogators will continue to show utmost professionalism.
I was at work. I was a nanny for a family in Shaker Heights. I was waiting for them to come home from school. I hadn't been feeling well at all that day. The next thing I knew, I was giving birth to a baby in the toilet. I didn't know what to do. The kids hadn't gotten home from school yet.
Okay.
The only thing I could think of was to put the baby in a bag. I have no idea what this was. I never looked at it. my car and placed it in the trunk. And I cleaned up the bathroom.
Was the baby still in a bag at that time? Or did you put it in something else?
But,
Like a garbage bag?
mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And then I went home.
Where were you living at the time?
With my parents. I was still
On
at home.
Harwich there?
Yeah. I wasn't sure what to do. No one knew. Then we had and I don't know the time frame from when to when, but camps that were associated with koinonia out here. I came out with our youth group for a weekend. I didn't. I got in my car. I left the camp for a while. I got in my car.
From Camp Koinonia?
Yes.
I have trouble sitting there. I apologize.
Yes. I got in my car and just drove. I don't know where I ended up. And I just ended up stopping on a road. I don't know which road. And I took the bag out of the trunk. And I laid it in the woods.
This is a woman who is speaking about throwing away her newborn baby, but you will not see any expressions of grief or guilt unless she talks about herself. It is shocking that she's been described as a loving mother to her 3 children when she was capable of such a monstrous act towards her first child. In the clip shown, she cries a little, but that was not in reaction to the baby, rather because she's looking back at the time and feeling bad for herself as she did not know what to do. When it comes to the baby, she couldn't care less. Gail does not even remember the day her child was born, regardless of what she went on to do with him. Her demeanor is so cold towards the baby that when she references him, she will use it to address him. The reason for this may have been the fact that she did not even look at the infant's gender, and later, she never followed the news enough to realize that her baby, Giaga's child, was a little boy. She had wiped the child from her memory.
I didn't know what to do.
About how far from the camp were you? Do you remember?
I have no idea. I really don't know. I don't. Other than driving to the camp, I really don't.
You couldn't go too far because you didn't know the road, so how would you get back, right?
I guess.
Was anybody with you in the car?
No.
No.
No, I was by myself.
About how far off the road do you remember you went? Like with the bag, like how far from the roadway you would have went? Or was there anything specific by there?
Nothing specific, no.
Nothing that stands out to you or anything?
No. I remember stopping on the road. There was a lot of snow. I do remember a lot of snow. And I walked in as far as I could, and I left the back.
Did you ever follow or read any stories or anything, in the news or seen news clipping, stories or anything like that about anything?
I did not.
No.
I did not know the baby was found.
Okay. At what point do you know that the baby was found? Was it recently? Was it a long time ago? Or
no? You were at my parents,
so that's the first time that you had known that the baby was found?
That a baby was found.
Now, getting back to, you said you were at this family's house in Shaker Heights when the baby was born, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember their name or where they lived at?
I do.
Okay. What was their name?
I'd rather not.
And why is that?
Just to,
Well, you gotta understand, Joe. We need to kind of verify some things, and I'm not trying to give you a hard time, but obviously what you've told us, but we need to go back and try to verify some of those things. It's been a long time, so and you said it was during the week, correct? Because the kids weren't home from school yet.
That is correct.
And so you were kind of a nanny in the afternoon.
I was a nanny all day.
All day, okay. But you said some of the kids went to school.
There were two children.
There's two children, and they would go off to school?
Yes.
And then what time would they come home from school?
3:30.
And you would stay till about what time?
6. Usually 6.
6 o'clock, and then you would go, and that's when you went home from there?
Yes.
Okay. So, do you remember what day it was? Was it Thursday maybe or Friday?
I honestly don't remember the day or the month.
But you said you went to a weekend camp that weekend, right?
I don't know if it was that weekend. It may have been a whole week.
Okay.
Gail is upfront about giving the information herself, but the detectives find it difficult to get her cooperation when they ask about other people's statements. She refuses to give the information of the family she babysat for at the time because she does not wish to embarrass herself. Her expressions become painfully cold when asked to share the identity of that family. You'll also notice that she does use the word baby sometimes, but this is in repetition after the detectives. When they use baby to refer to the child, then she does too. But when asked questions that require thinking, she will again refer to the baby as it. Later, she picks up on this and starts using baby herself.
And you said that you were in the bathroom of the home?
Yes.
When the baby was born, but nobody else was home at the time?
No.
No? You were by yourself?
Yes.
Okay. Obviously, there would have been, the afterbirth and the umbilical cord. How were you able to, cut the umbilical cord?
I didn't.
You didn't cut the umbilical cord?
No.
No? Okay.
I did not.
So you left just basically everything attached to the baby?
I did.
The afterbirth, everything was still attached to the baby?
Yes.
And obviously, you know that the baby was born alive.
I don't remember. I don't recall it ever crying.
Okay. But it's not like it was stillborn or anything. I mean, the coroner's report shows that it actually was breathing.
Okay.
So at some point, there had to be something kind of that you heard or saw, and the baby had to be moving, or
it's possible. I don't remember. I remember picking it up and placing it in the bag.
Did it actually fall into the toilet when you
Yes.
gave birth?
Yes.
So everything just kind of fell into the toilet?
Yes.
Okay, not onto the floor or anything like that?
No.
Okay. So the baby was actually in the toilet?
Yes.
Okay. And then where did you get the bag from and all that kind of stuff?
I believe it was under the kitchen sink.
Under the kitchen sink, so just a normal trash bag?
Yes.
Do you remember what color it was or anything? So it could be clear, white, black.
I believe it was black.
Okay, so like a dark colored trash bag.
Yes.
And everything was still attached to the baby when you
Yes.
when you put it into the bag. Was it still moving or anything?
I don't recall it moving.
You don't recall?
No.
You said you were able to clean the bathroom up prior to the kids you were nannying returning home?
Yes.
Okay. And did you, after you put the baby into that bag, did you immediately take it out to the car, or was there some time lapse while you were cleaning?
I probably cleaned and then took it out.
Okay.
I don't remember what.
I understand it's been 26 years, you know. And
I don't even remember what year it was born.
After this point, the third stage, accounts and clarification, begins. The investigator tries to clarify necessary details and encourages further conversation. Sometimes this stage may include adversarial techniques, such as the use of close-ended questions, or the investigator challenging the subject regarding any inconsistencies in their account. In this stage, the assumption is that even though the subject has opened up and seems to be sharing details, there are aspects of the crime that are being hidden. So they probe into the same events over and over again so that small inconsistencies can cause slip-ups.
how long before you moved into the house do you say the baby was born? Was it months, weeks, years?
Well, it was in winter.
It was in winter. So was it like that winter before you moved in, or was it a couple winters before?
It may have been January of that year. I don't.
But you think it was that year in '93 when you moved into the house?
I don't remember what year it was.
But it was cold and snowy.
I guess it could have been at the end of '92, maybe December of '92, but the kids would have been home for Christmas break, so it must have been January of '93.
January of '93, somewhere around there, that the baby was actually born.
Yeah.
Okay. Were you active with anybody else besides Mark prior to that?
I was not.
No. So you're confident that Mark is the father.
Her father, yeah.
Okay. Now getting back to the like how the baby was born and placed in the bag.
I did not cut it.
Well, how did that umbilical cord get cut then?
I don't know. I didn't cut it.
You didn't cut it?
No.
You're positive of that?
I am.
I mean, obviously we're talking about 26 years, so there's, as you said, some things that you're not real.
Yes, I
sure.
understand.
But there's no possible way that you cut that umbilical cord.
Almost certain I didn't.
Is it possible, or are you positive that you didn't cut that umbilical cord? Because there's a couple of things, Gail, you've told us a lot, but there's a couple of things that I am kind of struggling with. And some of that is to do with the baby because, a full autopsy was done. The baby was found. Obviously, that's clear now. And the umbilical cord was cut. And the coroner's report can show that the baby was born alive.
Okay.
And that the baby had taken breaths.
Okay.
So that tells me that the baby was moving and there had to be some type of screaming or something that you heard or saw.
This case is very challenging for the detectives because more than 2 decades have already passed and they have limited physical evidence. so it is necessary they align the old evidence with Gail's testimony. Giaga's child was found with a severed umbilical cord, and according to forensic evidence, it was alive. Another indicator was the presence of oxygen in the lungs. A common practice to see if a child had been alive at birth was by floating the lungs in the water. If they float, then it means oxygen content was present, meaning the child was alive. But Gail's statement differs from the evidence at this point. A simple explanation is that the umbilical cord may have shed off while the animal dragged the corpse towards the road. And despite the lungs having oxygen and the baby being alive, the cause of inaudible cries could have been a birth defect. This explains why the child was breathing and still could not make a sound. This proves the baby was alive at the time of birth and allows the officers to press charges for murder.
I don't know if that's just something that you don't want to remember, obviously due to the circumstances.
It's possible, but I really don't remember it ever making a sound.
How about in the bag? Was it still moving around in the bag? Or had it kind of maybe drowned in the toilet? Or was it still kind of moving around in the bag? Well, I can tell you it didn't drown in the toilet because it didn't have water in its lungs.
No, I don't think it stayed in the toilet long before I put it in the bag.
So even in the bag, it's got some oxygen in there. It's breathing. It's taking some breaths. It's probably moving. It's got to be making some kind of noise.
I really don't remember it making noise. I really don't.
Do you remember the bag making any noise? Was the bag moving, crinkling?
Not that I'm aware of. I suppose it could have been when I put it in the car.
Mm-hmm. But either in the toilet or when you quickly put it in the bag, it had to be making some kind of noise or moving around. But ultimately, due to your condition at the time, your intention was no matter what, you weren't going to keep this baby.
I didn't know what to do.
You didn't know what to do. But because of those circumstances, you didn't know what to do. Was it because you were young, because you weren't married? You're afraid to tell your parents. I understand you're Baptist.
I was definitely afraid to tell my parents. My father was very adamant about not having children before you're married. Because the sister and nieces all had children and didn't want that.
I can understand that.
Stereotype.
What else was going through your mind at the time? Why you said that I don't know what to do. I'm not keeping this baby. What else was going through your mind at the time?
Well, I think part of it was more of just where I was at.
Mm-hmm.
And worried about the kids coming home. And I didn't know what to do.
Establishing the motive is perhaps the most crucial part of an interrogation. It can help the officers to build a very strong case, or it can help the perpetrator form a very strong defense. The smallest differences within the statement can lead to big differences in her prosecution. If she knew the baby was alive after birth, that would lead to second-degree murder charges. However, if she claims in the interrogation that she did not know that, then it could lead to a more lenient charge. So far, the motive that Gail is trying to present is the one that detectives expected. It would make sense at the time that a child outside of wedlock would not have been approved.
But you had known for some time that you were pregnant. At least a couple months when you're mentioning and you're afraid to tell your parents that you were pregnant. So you had known for some time that you were pregnant.
Yeah.
So at least for a couple months, correct? Can we say that? You said initially you didn't know you were pregnant. You were still having your menstrual cycles, and that does happen.
I think because of that, I didn't know how far along I was.
But you hadn't told anybody.
I had not.
And you weren't sure what to do.
I was not.
And was I mean, did you intend on having the baby, or I mean, what were your intentions? Should have kind of come unexpectedly that day, but it sounds like you had made your mind up that, you know, you weren't in the right spot at the time. You weren't telling anybody. This was kind of what you were planning on doing, for lack of better words.
I suppose.
I mean, had you planned on? I mean, what were your plans when you found out you're pregnant? And
I don't know. I don't know what. I don't remember. I don't know what my intentions were.
I mean, were you gonna? I mean, at least for some period of time, you know you're pregnant and you're gonna keep this baby, or you're gonna tell Mark at some point. Or you're just gonna get rid of it and act like it never happened. When was this previous pregnancy?
Probably about that time.
About the 91 time?
How old were you at the time? Would you remember that? Would that be easier to remember?
20, 21.
Okay.
20.
Explain that situation to us.
Tell us what happened. Is it Mark's child as well?
It is.
And tell us what happened on that situation.
Pretty much the same situation, other than I had the baby at his rental house.
And where's his rental house?
It was Euclid.
Euclid? Is that in Harwich?
Huh?
What street was that on?
No, it's where he was living in 248th Street.
Okay.
He rented from his brother. He gave birth to it in the toilet.
Is that a boy or a girl?
I don't know.
You don't know.
And I never.
You didn't want to know?
I never looked.
Okay.
I don't know.
What happened after you gave birth to the child?
I did the same thing. Put it in a garbage bag.
And what did you do with the garbage bag?
I left it.
What do you mean you left it? What does that mean, Gail?
I took it and left it over by medical buildings in Euclid.
Where did you leave it exactly?
There's a road called Brush Road. Goes up behind very tall medical buildings that are there. And I just left it over in the tall grass.
Kind of like field area you left in the tall grass?
Yeah.
What time of year was this?
Summer. I think it was summer.
Summer, and you think you're 21? Do you remember what year it would have been?
Gail's family and close friends spoke highly of her and were in disbelief that she was capable of this. They spoke about her good temperament and how dedicated she was to her role as a wife and a mother. People were stunned when they heard that she killed not one, but two of her babies. This baby, too, was wrapped in a garbage bag right after birth and thrown out in the wild like its unnamed sibling. Giaga's child had a sibling, one that met a similar fate, and the worst part is that at least Giaga's child was loved and remembered, even if it was by strangers. It has been so long since the first infant was dumped that the likelihood of finding even the remains of the baby is near impossible. Mark, their 3 children, and other family members will have to now live with the fact that they will never be whole. Part of their family was kept a secret from them, a decision that Gail took alone.
Okay, because like Detective Seaman explained to you, your DNA will hit the database in a matter of days. And it's going to connect to all those files, all those missing unidentified persons. So if you're not being honest with us, we're going to know. So now is your chance to be able to get on the front end of this. There's nothing else you need to tell us.
No.
Okay.
Was that I recall?
You forgotten another incident?
No, I don't think so.
Can you kind of draw us how that shows where maybe where Richmond and Brush is?
Give me an overview.
Okay. Thank you. I write you a couple extras. No.
Didn't make enough room for 2 buildings.
Oh, that's right.
One.
Is it by that first building?
I think so.
So the baby was here?
Yeah, somewhere in that.
So this is part of Brush Road, or is this like a driveway for the building?
Oh, this is Brush, and that's the driveway.
All right, so that's a driveway right there, and the building's here, and the other building is right here?
Yes.
All right, was there anything over in this field at all?
No, just really tall grass. There were houses here.
There were houses kind of behind here?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Was there anything else distinguishable about the area?
No, that's what it is.
So, and you birthed that child as a full-term baby?
I believe so.
But it looked full-term?
I don't think I even looked at it.
Well, you had to, you grabbed it, you moved it, you had to have seen it. Whether or not you're blocking that out of your memory because you don't want to see it, but you did see it.
Okay.
And, but it was, you believe it was a full-term baby? Not sure. Well,
I'm not sure.
You went into normal labor, right?
I think so.
Right. And that was 1991.
Yeah.
And how do you know the difference between that child and the child that we found? What is so distinguishable? Was it because of the location? That's what reminded you of, the child that you birthed on 248th and the child that you birthed at the home in Shaker Heights? But it's very similar in nature how it happened, right?
Yeah.
However cold Gail seems, these events have had an effect on her. You can see how slow her motor activity has become. Even as she signs the document, she slowly drags her hand away with disinterest. We cannot claim to know what has truly affected her and what has not. However, her body language said a lot in its own way. She was most triggered and bothered when Mark was brought up and was disturbingly unconcerned with her dead babies and the complexity of the situation she was in. We understand from her accounts that insecurities are the reason for this insanity. But was it justified in the end? Though Geauga's child went without justice for 26 years, fortunately there was enough forensic evidence to prove the facts of the case. Advancements in DNA testing brought Gail, the culprit, in front of the jury, and the fact that the baby had been alive after he was born was enough to present this as a murder. The remains of the first child were not found, and hence they were not presented. The decision was made to not reference the first baby, so it could not influence the jury. Finally, 51-year-old Gail Eastwood Ritchie was convicted of murder and sentenced to life imprisonment with the possibility of parole after 15 years on May 24, 2022. Judge Andre, who gave the ruling on her case, had the following to say in the end.
Your wrongful efforts to conceal what happened in February 1993 did buy you 29 years of normal life where you got the chance to get married, raise children, and do some good works. But ultimately you gained that time on the back of a helpless infant whose body you concealed in the woods. Ironically, Geauga's child did more for you than you ever did for him, probably. Your freedom is over. It is finally time to atone for these awful, unnecessary deeds committed 3 decades ago. So I sentence you to life in prison with the possibility of parole in 15 years.
Was she in one piece? Was she in multiple pieces? No, she was.
This is 62-year-old Raymond Moody, casually describing the condition of 17-year-old Brittany Drexel's body after he assaulted and killed her. Brittany was just a teenager on vacation in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, when everything took a dark turn the moment she encountered Moody. These were her final moments before the gruesome murder that left no trace, no evidence, and not even a single suspect. Then, without warning, Moody stepped out of the shadows with a bone-chilling confession that shattered the silence. What he shared was so dark and disturbing that no one was prepared to hear what really happened to Brittany Drexel.
Did something happen to stop that? To stop me? Yes. No, I did. Yeah.
Detectives are stunned by how Moody had managed to stay hidden for over a decade, and even more baffled by what finally drove him to come forward and confess to a crime buried in silence for 13 years. On April 22, 2009, 17-year-old Brittany Drexel traveled over 800 miles away from her home in Rochester to the popular South Carolina beach resort town of Myrtle Beach. Her mother didn't approve of the trip, so she quietly set out, keeping it a secret from her. But she was not alone. 2 friends, Elena and Jennifer, joined her in this adventure. However, her adventurous journey was about to turn into a nightmare. 3 days after she reached Myrtle Beach on April 25, 2009, she went to Blue Water Resort to meet Peter Brock. Brittany left the Blue Water Resort around 8:45 p.m., but after 9:15 p.m., Brittany suddenly stopped texting her boyfriend, John Greco. She had disappeared. In June 2016, the FBI got a tip that a person named Timothy Deshaun Taylor had assaulted and shot Brittany to death. However, it turned out to be false information.
I may as well start with the obvious question. Did you kill Brittany Drexel?
No, sir. I did not kill Brittany Drexel.
Were you involved in the kidnapping of Brittany Drexel?
No, sir, I was not.
Were you with Brittany Drexel the night she disappeared in April of 2009?
No, sir.
In 2019, new forensic tools allowed investigators to reconstruct Brittany's movements. They traced her phone's ping pattern, and it aligned perfectly with Moody's SUV in the vehicle records. These vehicle records triggered detectives to resurrect this old, faded case. As a result, on May 4, 2022, Moody was arrested on obstruction charges. The next day, on May 5, 2022, Raymond Moody willingly came forward to give his confession. Detectives discovered human remains buried in the woods in Georgetown on May 11, 2022. After a few days, on May 15, 2022, DNA and dental records proved that it was Brittany's body. Moody was adamant that he would speak only to the police, refusing any involvement with the FBI. Respecting his demand, the Georgetown County Sheriff's Office arranged a private meeting for his confession that would finally unearth the truth buried for over a decade. The gravity of the case drew 5 detectives packed into the interrogation room, which is a rare sight, even for a high-profile murder. The weight of over a decade of unanswered questions hung heavy in the air, but none of them were prepared for the horror Raymond Moody was about to unleash that he sealed in silence for 13 years.
So you're good with that? Yeah. Okay. That's okay. Yeah, so Ray, what do you feel more comfortable with? Do you feel better just telling kind of the story, and then if there's a few things that we have a few questions on, let's ask you?
One thing before I tell the story, one thing that I realized last night, because I was laying there, of course I was laying there thinking about everything, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember then, when I took you guys to where I buried the girl, which I believe in my heart, we finally did after a little look around, find exactly where I stood that up there. But over all these years, I guess my memory got kind of, because of all that time. Yeah. Because when we first went there, I went to the wrong damn spot. Yeah. And I couldn't figure it out. Yep. So, in regards to that, there's a lot of stuff that I remember like yesterday. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's cool. A lot of stuff that I remember just like yesterday. So, I'm going to tell you, it wasn't, we went to Myrtle Beach because we used to go there all the time. I'm sure you guys knew that. We used to go there and get a time out. This gay bar we used to kind of hang out at and have a good time and drinking, partying, and stuff like that. We enjoyed that very much, did that almost every weekend for a while. But anyway, and first to go down to the boulevard, hey, you're in Myrtle Beach, everybody does that. It's trying the strip. Just people watching and stuff, you know. So that's all we were doing. We were going down the strip and smoking pot. Who the hell isn't, you know? You know how it is down there. I want the boulevard, yeah. Yeah. And Brittany was walking on the sidewalk, and the traffic's really slow. You know, it gets right. It's so congested. And she looked over, and I looked at her, and I was smoking pot. She started laughing. And I don't remember the entire conversation. It's so damn long, but she said, "That smells pretty good." I'm like, "Yeah, that's some good pot. Would you like some?" I said, "Yeah." So we kind of chatted a little bit as I'm driving. Angel's sitting right there, but she didn't say a damn word, you know. I was thinking to myself, she probably don't care if me talking to her, you know. But just a little jealous sometimes. Yeah. But it's all harmless. Yeah. We're just having a good time. And anyway, I was surprised. She just hopped right in and said, "Hey, you want to party with us?" I said, "Yeah."
Moody began with his first statement, and it's nothing but a lie. From the beginning, he's trying to play a blame game by saying that it was Brittany's choice. He also claimed shamelessly that Brittany was the one who was attracted and hopped into the car readily. But anyone who knew Brittany could vouch that Brittany wasn't like that. Then why did she hop into Moody's car? The detective is about to uncover the truth behind this mystery.
She got in. And I went back there and passed around. We're all talking. Going down the boulevard. And I don't remember the entire conversation, but I was like, "You want to hang out with us for a while tonight? And then go get some party, maybe get some coke and stuff." And she's like, "Oh, yeah." Then she started telling us about being from New York, and she was down with some friends and boyfriend and stuff like that. And, of course, along during this journey, because we started heading back towards Georgetown, she wasn't tripping a bit. I wasn't thinking of doing anything wrong. We were just having a good time, smoking some pot and stuff, you know. But her phone occasionally would ring. I never said a word to her about you can't answer your phone or whatever. That was a decision she made, I guess, because I'm just guessing, because maybe she didn't want him to run her little party or something, you know, I don't know. So anyway, we drove all the way straight back into Georgetown, and the whole time we're smoking pot and laughing, joking, small talk, and all that kind of stuff. And we got back down to the river, which is where we used to go camping sometimes. I have a tent set up there sometimes for a couple of days. Nobody ever went down there. We didn't have to worry about anything like that. We'd camp out and have a fire, smoke some pot, you know, just hang out and stuff like that. But anyway, we went down there and parked and walked up to the tent and sat around talking and stuff like that, and smoking pot. And then I said, well, we'd like to get some coke or something like that. We can get that and put it back in the apartment. But I didn't have the damn apartment keys because her son had the truck. And on the truck keys was the keys to the apartment.
Okay.
So I just volunteered to go get the keys from her son. And then shortly after that, that's when I made a bad decision, thinking bad. So I did feel ashamed about it. But anyway, Angel left. And while she was gone, I changed the whole subject, what was going on. And doing all that. And I thought strangling her. And I was in a panic. I didn't know what to do.
Moody finally opens Pandora's box, and what spills out is a tangled mess, a thread of truth buried beneath layers of carefully crafted lies. He casually claims that Brittany willingly got into his car, but what he hides is far more sinister. It was his longtime girlfriend, Angela Vaz, who lured Brittany into the trap. As the investigation deepens, detectives will uncover the disturbing extent of Angela's involvement in this case. But Moody plays it smart. He's about to describe how he assaulted Brittany, all while skillfully sidestepping any mention of his girlfriend's role in the crime.
I put her back in the truck. Now I went and got her, put her in the back of the truck, started heading back that direction, and I'm thinking, where am I going to go? I turned down Penmore Road. I wasn't thinking anything about Harmony. But that's where I went. I just turned down Harmony and saw that place where you could turn in with the gate. And rode back in there. Felt like I was off the road a good little ways. And I dug a hole. And I buried her. And I went back to the apartment. You know. And then she's still sleeping. She couldn't do the damn thing. You know. And then sometime, I don't know what time it was after that, woke her up or she woke up. And I decided maybe I just didn't want to be there. So let's go ride the motorcycle. So we went to, ended up riding around in the Surfside area. I remember that. I got a damn ticket, right?
Yep, we did. Don't speed.
What's that?
Don't speed. Ray yelled at me for speeding on the way over here. Sorry.
He's a terrible driver.
Sorry, Sheriff.
Yeah, but a lot of it, it's just because it's been so long, a lot of it I remember like it was like yesterday. Some of it I was just kind of coming back to me a little bit, you know, a little vague on some of it. But I mean, I did. That's what I did.
So you said yesterday you put her stuff in the Salvation Army box.
No.
Do you know which box that was, or where was that? Is the one up there by that gas station next to?
No. At the actual Salvation Army itself.
Okay.
Because they have two big white containers at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
The one here in Georgetown?
Yeah.
Okay.
Her clothes, but what about her wallet?
All that stuff.
All the stuff in the trunk?
Yeah, but I took all the contents of the wall, all our identification, all that stuff out.
What'd you do with that?
I burned it.
Burned it?
Yeah.
And the phone, you said yesterday, what'd you do with the phone?
I threw it in the
Mm-hmm. Do you agree with the details about like her identification and everything like that?
No.
I don't remember what kind of cards there were or anything like that.
No.
Specific stuff in her purse, like we're just a lot of this stuff. What we're trying to do, right, is like a lot of the stuff we say. We actually believe we're trying to take your information, and we know all this factual stuff, like phone pings and license plate readers and stuff like that, and we're just trying to sync it. And a lot of it does sync, but we do have some gaps. So we just want to make sure that we're just trying to collect all the information we can, 'cause it makes you more credible. So say you said, I saw this in her purse, I'm like, then he has a purse. Like
She had a very nice purse and she had a very nice wallet.
Yeah.
For some damn reason, I don't know why, you know, sometimes people keep, like, call them souvenirs or something like that. I did keep some kind of identification card she had. It wasn't a picture, I just had her name on it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I hung on to it for a while. But I did hang on to it for a while. And then I started, I might have kept a couple more. But I remember I didn't burn them all, I cut them up, a couple of them, little bitty pieces.
Moody's statement comes with multiple gaps, and the detectives are interested in filling those gaps. Only then can they paint the true story. For instance, Moody claims to have destroyed all the cards that he found in Brittany's purse, but the detectives weren't satisfied with what they'd heard. They already have a tip that Angela wasn't just a bystander, but till now, Moody shielded her well. Will he keep shielding her until the very end?
So you don't have anything, there's nothing left that you have that was just, what about her necklace? Do you remember her having a necklace?
No, I don't remember that.
Can you describe her phone at all?
I think it was
pretty
one of those
unique.
little flip phones.
Remember what color it was?
Black, I think.
Black phone? Okay. About the purse, do you remember anything? You said it was a nice purse.
It was just a real nice purse, like Gucci or something, nice like that.
Do you remember any, like you said, the color, the material, or anything like that you can recall? We get it, especially in
it was like a tan color, I think.
Do you remember how her phone worked? Did you get to manipulate it at all? It's kind of unique. Did you open it at all?
I don't remember that much about it. I just remember throwing the phone in the river.
So again, trying to match things up to science just to prove that you're credible. How long would you say you were down in the vicinity of the landing? With a couple hours?
The whole thing was a good while.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly how long it was. I wasn't looking at my watch, and then we're high, so I wasn't tripping on, I wasn't pressed for time or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I really don't remember the time. I remember what I did.
Is there? And I know it's super uncomfortable, but for us, it's in fact fine. Can you describe the events that happened when Angel leaves? So Angel's obviously not involved. What led to the cost you to actually find Brittany? Can you talk us through that? Were you did she do something to you? What caused things to go wrong?
Nothing caused it but mine.
Your mind?
My mind, yeah. Just for some reason, reverted back to the kind of person I used to be, just for a period of time.
Yeah.
And I made her take her clothes off.
Yeah.
And she was very cooperative.
Yeah, she was.
But it was against her will.
It was, yeah. Did she say anything to you specifically or at that time?
She said she was gonna, she'd tell Angel on me.
Said she was gonna. Mm-hmm. And then did you, and again, I'm just trying to get as much details, and did you start to have her, or did something happen to stop that?
To stop me from having sex?
Yeah.
No, I did.
Yeah. Yeah. And then afterwards, what happened? Did she say, like, what caused you, other than revert?
I panicked.
You panicked.
Yeah, I panicked because I started just playing the whole thing through my mind, what was going to happen. I was going back to prison again for the rest of my life.
She could identify you potentially.
Yeah. And I didn't want anybody to know that. I loved her.
Did she try and fight you off at all? Did she punch, kick, scream, bite, anything like that?
She did. It wasn't real violent because I didn't really do much with Shayna. So I was around her.
I mean, you were a big guy.
I don't know how big it was, but
Strong guy.
at the time, yeah.
Oral.
No, just
Did you, after you heard it, was there any period of time before you strangled her, or was it one after the other?
I just some minutes.
Do you remember what she was like at any point after you heard it before she died? What was she doing?
Like our conversation?
Yeah, what was she doing?
She was just scared. She was scared, I was scared.
Moody seems to remember in great detail how he assaulted Brittany. He's not at all repentant. He's recapitulating the incident in such a casual way that it can boil anyone's blood. He states that it was not his original plan to kill her. But what if she gives her statement? He will end up in jail again. This is why he panicked and strangled Brittany to death. But his brutality didn't stop there. Moody is about to describe in chilling detail how he discarded Brittany's lifeless body, moving her as if she were nothing more than an object and burying her mercilessly.
Yeah, shot to the tent. And put it in the back of the car. And like I said, when she was, this took place when she was gone, I picked her up and carried her down through here, right over in here, and put her body right underneath the tree. And that's where she stayed until I came back a little early the next morning, got her.
The next morning?
Yeah.
Okay. Was it on, you said this was the fence right here?
Yeah.
So it was on the landing side of the fence?
Yeah.
And not on the here?
No. But, it's a pretty big area.
Right.
So it wasn't like right on top of this, there was no reason for anybody to be coming through here. I wasn't really concerned about that because it's a real dark area, not lit up. I don't remember being lit up at all.
You said that you wrapped her in a blanket.
Yeah.
Do you remember anything about that blanket?
No, I don't know. I'm sure I don't know for a fact, but I would imagine that blanket's long gone.
So she wasn't buried in a blanket?
No.
Okay. Were you ever a smoker?
No.
Okay.
Just pot once in a while,
Okay.
like cigarette smoking, but I never did.
Okay.
Ray, do you remember if anyone else ever came down to the landing just while you were during that whole process that was pulled
I
down?
don't remember anything like that, because that would have, I'm sure that would have, especially after that event, it seems like I remember that, but I don't remember anything like that.
He moved Brittany's body and left her under a tree overnight. He was pretty confident that no one was going to find her body because it was dark and a deserted trail. He came back the next day with a shovel to bury her. His actions reveal the depths of his monstrosity then and now.
Do you remember what you did with the shovel?
I really don't.
Did you put it back in
I don't know if I returned it or not.
I imagine he probably would have heard about it from him, right?
Right.
Would he be like, where's my shovel?
He wouldn't. It would have been some period of time before he realized the shovel was gone,
Yeah.
But I really don't remember what to do with the shovel.
Back to the boulevard for a second, Ray. Was this? You said you went to the boulevard often. Was this common, like picking up a girl and maybe asking them to party Is this stuff you did before, or is this the first time?
Off the boulevard is the first time that I ever did.
Did you do it at other places, like where you and Angel would be? There's nothing wrong with if you picked up a girl and there's consensual.
We had done that before, so we had a relatively open type relationship. We had a very trusting relationship. Yeah. There was a time or two where like we picked up somebody, not going there to pick them up, it just
So you just saw somebody, you drive by, yeah.
Well, no, like say for instance we were in the bar, meet somebody.
Okay.
And like say for instance we had a hotel or something up at the beach.
Yeah.
I might go back to that hotel with it.
Yeah.
And that'll happen a couple of times.
Yeah.
We didn't really pursue that. But I mean, yeah, it had happened a couple of times.
You said you're on Ocean Boulevard. You guys were driving before you saw Brittany.
Yeah.
Do you remember, were you just driving one direction, both directions? Were you turning around at any point?
I don't remember any of that.
Okay.
You know, all I remember is from more or less the point when we picked her up and we were going north. But in the past, I imagine there's times where sometimes you go to the strip or something. You might drive the time or two or whatever, so that would get unusual. But I don't remember that. Yeah. But it wasn't like I was out looking for something. It just happened.
Right. You said you were on Ocean Boulevard, so I was trying to figure out, is it one of those, you're going up, going down, going up, going down, or if you were going to somewhere?
Where we're going anywhere, we're just driving. Yeah. Just like a lot of people go to the boulevard.
Yep.
Hey, it's been happening for years.
Yeah.
When I was a teenage kid, I was on the boulevard too. At the pavilion. Right?
Oh, yeah.
You remember the pavilion, right?
Picking up a teen girl from the beach area was not new for Moody. This is what he called hunting. But what he carefully concealed here was that his girlfriend, Angela, was his partner in this hunting game and collecting ransoms. In 2011, when Moody first came under the radar, detectives suspected Angela might be involved or hold vital information. But what she revealed during interrogation only brought the investigation to a frustrating standstill.
What about that day? Do you remember, were you like staying at the beach that day already? Did you come up that morning? Do you remember anything about that?
No.
Remember he came up in separate cars?
Sometimes, no.
We both came up in the...
I don't remember it, no, because her son had the truck. Yeah.
That makes
right.
Yeah, that makes sense. Where was the bike?
He had the truck.
Where would you keep your motorcycle?
You know what? A lot of times I take the bike over with me. I put it over on the trailer and take it. You know, but I wasn't riding the bike that night. We didn't ride the bike till the next morning. You know.
You rode the bike the next day because you got the ticket.
I got pulled over speed. I was probably doing like, I don't know, 35 in a 25 mile an hour zone or something like that.
Do you remember where did you pick the bike up to come back to Surfside? Do you remember where the bike was kind of in relation to the travel back and forth?
Yeah, the bike was, I had it on my trailer and I had it parked at in that place.
Just hours after the crime, Moody was pulled over for speeding, a crucial moment that went unnoticed. Later, the detective said in an interview that they caught an offender for speeding who had scratches all over his face, and a teenage girl was missing at the same time. How could they have failed to connect these crucial links back then? If only they had looked closer at Moody, then Brittany's case might have been solved more than a decade earlier.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but was it sudden? Was it
just something just like snapped in my fucking mind, you know? Just like all of a sudden. Just like before I went to prison the first time around. You know, I knew what I was doing, but I wasn't really like in real control of it. I didn't have the character to not act on my impulses, you see. Yeah, I really didn't.
You said you're not a drug user, but you use...
Just like sometimes if somebody smokes a cigarette once in a blue moon, they're not necessarily a cigarette smoker, right?
Mm-hmm. But there was nothing. You're not a drinker either, so you weren't drinking that night, and then.
I think I couldn't swear to it. I don't remember for sure.
Yeah.
So because generally I didn't much drinking and driving, you know.
Yep.
But there was times where like we go to the beach, go partying at like time out or something, doing some drinking, you know.
Yeah.
There was times where I knew that we drank too much and like you can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
We like stay there somewhere, you know.
Yep.
That's nice.
Just to go back to what you said about the goodwill, do you remember when in the whole sequence of events you salvation? That's right.
You trying to trip me up?
I'm not trying to trip you up. I'm just trying to put it straight in my mind.
No,
when in the sequence of events that took place, when did you go there?
I couldn't say exactly when that happened, but it was within the next few days or within a week or something like that. I had her stuff put aside in some bags, so it's kind of outside out of mind.
Where did you keep it?
I think I kept it in the back of the truck, just like it was trash or something, you know.
Were they like plastic grocery bags, or were they
like Walmart bags?
Yeah.
You know, I used Walmart bags to put trash and shit in.
Yeah. Is it okay to take a ride and see what or not be okay to take it?
Yeah. You guys want to step out for a second and then come back here and okay.
And that's how Moody wraps up his interrogation. He simply took advantage of an innocent girl, murdered her brutally, buried her in a deserted area, and got rid of all the possible shreds of evidence. He knew exactly what he did, yet he chose to be silent and enjoyed his freedom. It was only after the detectives reopened the cold case again and began interrogating Angela that Moody decided to resurface and took accountability for his past actions. Later, on May 11th, 2022, the detectives followed the trail and found human remains buried 4 feet under the ground in a wooded area outside Georgetown. On May 15th, DNA and dental records were matched, and the human remains were identified as Brittany Drexel. On May 16th, 2022, Raymond Moody was arrested and charged with murder, kidnapping, and first-degree criminal misconduct. On October 19th, Moody pleaded guilty to kidnapping, assault, and murdering Brittany Drexel in a Georgetown court and admitted his actions as monstrous.
And I was a monster. And I took Brittany Drexel's life.
Moody was sentenced to life in prison. He received additional consecutive terms for kidnapping and criminal conduct. In March 2024, a federal grand jury indicted Angela Vaz on 3 counts of making false statements to federal investigators regarding the events surrounding Brittany Drexel's case, and on February 13, 2025, she was sentenced to 18 years in federal prison.
911, what is the address of the emergency?
Oh, my wife's been murdered.
What address is this at?
3466 South 700 East.
Okay, repeat the address for verification. Okay.
Pardon? 3466 South 700 East.
And what city are you in?
Salt Lake.
Are you in South Salt Lake?
Yes.
Okay, what's the phone number you're calling from?
I come home, my wife's been murdered.
On November 30th, 2010, authorities in South Salt Lake, Utah received a distressing 911 call from Earl Black, informing them about the murder of his wife, Sherry Black. 64-year-old Sherry had been working at the bookstore they owned when she was mercilessly stabbed by an intruder with a pair of scissors. What could have led the perpetrator to kill her so ruthlessly? What started as a horrifying tragedy for this family ended up haunting them for 10 years. Sherry Black, a loving mother and grandmother, had married her high school sweetheart Earl Black in her youth. By 2010, the couple, married for over 46 years, shared a loving relationship and were living the life of their dreams in South Salt Lake City. Sherry was adored by her neighbors and relatives for her caring personality. She was always fond of books and had wanted to start a library. She was a passionate book collector, starting from her home and later expanding it to Earl's bookstore, known as B&W Billiards and Books. This bookstore was a haven for book enthusiasts because the collection included rare and unique books. Sherry would have never imagined that a place where she cherished spending her time could be the place of her death. Was her passion for rare books what ultimately led to her fate? What could have gone wrong in a peaceful bookstore that resulted in this tragedy? Let's take a closer look at the fateful day. November 30th, 2010 was a calm and ordinary day in South Salt Lake when Earl Black and his employee Michael Vasquez returned home from work. Earl couldn't find Sherry at home, so he and Michael went to the bookstore to look for her. On entering, what Earl witnessed was a nightmare that would torment him forever. Sherry was lying on the ground, cold, having been stabbed to death with multiple wounds to her head, chest, and torso, which seemed to have been inflicted with a pair of scissors. Earl, completely devastated, immediately called 911 for assistance.
911, what is the address of the emergency?
Oh, my wife's been murdered. A pair of scissors sticking in her.
Is this a house or an apartment?
This is a husband.
No, are you at a house or an apartment?
I am in a house in my shop.
What's the name of the business?
I'm in the other room, yes. Oh.
How old is your wife? Okay, is she awake?
No, she's dead.
Okay, is she breathing at all?
No, she's dead. She's cold. Oh.
Is the person who did this, could they still be nearby?
I doubt it.
Is there any serious bleeding?
Oh, just get here.
Okay, I do have help on the way. I need to ask you some more questions just to get help started, okay?
No, just get here.
Okay, I have help on the way too. Is there any serious bleeding?
I don't know. She had a pair of scissors sticking in her, and I pulled them out. Almighty.
Okay, I'm sending the paramedics to help you now. Stay on the line and I'll tell you exactly what to do next, okay? You said you already took the scissors out?
Yes. Oh.
Okay, listen carefully. I want you to lay her flat on her back and remove any pillows.
I haven't touched her.
Okay. Can you get next to her to see if we can start CPR on her?
Oh, you can't. She's cold. Oh. Oh, man. What the... Jesus Christ.
Where has she been stabbed at?
Pardon?
Where has she been stabbed at?
Oh, I don't know. In the chest. It doesn't matter. Just get here. You can't save her. She's gone.
Okay, let me give you some CPR instructions to help her, okay?
I can't handle this.
Okay, I need you to get in the room with her, and I want you to lay her flat on her back on the ground and remove any...
She's flat on her back.
Okay. I need you to kneel next to her and look in her mouth for any food or vomit, okay?
Hey, she's dead. Just get here.
So you don't want to do CPR?
She's cold. She's dead. Hey, Sherry's been murdered. Yes, get Heidi.
Do you have any idea who could have done this, sir?
I have no idea. It's the bookstore. I have no idea.
At the bookstore?
Yes.
Where at in the business are you?
A bookstore.
No, are you, where at?
Sir, we're just arriving. Sir, we're just arriving. This is the dispatcher. Just stay on the phone with my friend, okay?
Sir, where at inside the building are you? Are you just right inside the doors, or where are you?
I'm right inside the door. Mike, you get somebody there.
Is that where your wife is at also?
No, she's in the bookstore here.
Do you have any idea who could have done this?
No.
Do you know what time frame this could have happened between?
Hey, I just got home. Just goodbye.
No, don't hang up, sir. Sir, are you still there?
Oh my God.
As soon as the officers reached the bookstore, they found the place completely disrupted. Sherry was lying covered in blood, with a jacket covering her chest and waist, and a pair of scissors on the floor. Both Earl and Michael were questioned. Earl mentioned that when he found Sherry naked, he pulled the scissors out from her chest and covered her body with his jacket out of respect. Michael also stated that he had known the duo for 20 years and could not imagine anyone doing this to her. After examining Sherry's body, detectives believed that the murder was likely motivated. However, no physical evidence was found to support this. Moreover, the place was in disarray when the investigators surveyed it, yet there were no signs of theft in the bookstore. As the police department investigated the area, they learned that most witnesses had seen nothing unfamiliar. Surveillance camera footage from a nearby resident captured Earl and Michael leaving around 9:30 a.m. and returning around 1:20 p.m. A few pieces of evidence were found at the crime scene, including bloodstains on the doorknob, a pair of scissors, and an Armani belt near Sherry's body. The blood was submitted for forensic examination, and later a DNA profile was developed. The result showed the DNA of a male suspect. As the investigation proceeded, Earl said that on the day of Sherry's murder, he had a meeting with a book vendor at around 10:30 a.m. The vendor had contacted Earl after Sherry's murder and told Earl that he had visited the bookstore that day. The police officers then contacted the vendor for questioning. The vendor told the police that he visited the store that day and waited for 45 minutes but couldn't find anyone there, so he left. The police speculated that Sherry had been murdered while the vendor was inside the bookstore. These suspicions led the police to call the vendor in for further investigation. The vendor visited the police station with his attorney and was cooperative. He provided all the essentials, including his DNA, for examination. His results didn't match with the evidence found at the crime scene, and he was ruled out as a suspect. With days passing and no new leads, detectives contacted Sherry's friends and family and collected their DNA and palm prints for additional investigation. But the outcome was disappointing. There were no matches. Just a few weeks after Sherry's death on December 18, 2010, a similar murder of 45-year-old Christine Marie Gable was reported. The perpetrator behind Christine's death was identified as 31-year-old Paul David Vara. Christine was attacked in the same way Sherry was attacked, and this made police think that it was Paul who committed both murders. However, surprisingly, after an investigation, it was found that Paul had been in jail at the time of Sherry Black's murder. Hence, another suspect was ruled out. In 2017, Greg Miller, Sherry's son-in-law, announced a reward of $50,000 for information that would help in solving Sherry's case. This provided the detectives with different leads, but all in vain. Nothing led them to the suspect, and eventually, all the leads were exhausted. As months turned into years, leaving the family in pain, the Black family never lost hope and still believed that one day the case would reach its conclusion. To keep the case in the public eye, the family took up different activities such as candlelight vigils, as well as getting media coverage for their story. After nearly 6 years of fruitless investigation, Detective Joe Sutera of the South Salt Lake Police Department, or SSLPD, who led the case, retired in 2017. After this, the case was handled by the SSLPD and the Unified Police Department of Greater Salt Lake, along with cold case detective Ben Pender of the Unified Police Department. In 2017, on the 7th anniversary of Sherry's murder, Sorensen Labs in Utah developed a genealogical profile of the suspect from the DNA collected at the crime scene. On this occasion, Greg Miller also announced an even higher reward of $250,000 for any information that helped point them towards a suspect. Despite this, no significant clues were revealed by anyone who came forward. As the case went cold, in 2018, it was ultimately taken over by Detective Pender. Detective Pender reinvestigated the victim's family and friends to find some leads, but nothing led to solving the case. Later, Detective Pender learned about Paraben Nanolabs, which was beginning to use the latest DNA technology called genetic genealogy, and he provided them with the suspect's DNA sample in the hopes that they could perhaps finally make a difference. As everything else seemed to be falling apart and all the leads were exhausted, this last ray of hope remained. In September 2020, Detective Pender received a call from Carol Rolnick from Paraben Nanolabs, who said that she had managed to trace the suspect's father and grandmother to Sacramento, California. On that particular day, Detective Pender received another call providing the same information from Dr. Barbara Ray Venter, a genetic genealogist who had simultaneously been working on the case. Detective Pender met the suspect's father and grandmother in Sacramento, California. The suspect's father told Detective Pender the suspect's name was Antonio, but he didn't know the last name because Antonio's mother had never confirmed to him that he was actually the biological father. So he had never been in the picture. The father and grandmother willingly provided their DNA samples. After putting the pieces together, Detective Pender was sure they had finally identified Sherry's killer. Now the next step was to get the suspect's DNA to confirm it was a match. After some investigative research, the suspect's name was found to be 30-year-old Adam Antonio Spencer Durborough. Detective Pender located Adam in Orem, Utah, which was 35 miles away from Sherry's bookstore. Officers kept an eye on Adam. When he left his apartment on October 3, 2020, officers followed him to the food court where he ordered himself a meal. When he finished and threw the food containers in the trash, the police were ready to collect those items for DNA testing. After testing, the police got the results on October 6, 2020. Fortunately, it was a match. A decade of pain and non-stop efforts finally brought about a breakthrough. Now, all that was left was to arrest him. A decade-old case was finally unraveled due to the latest DNA technology. After attaining the arrest warrant, 30-year-old Adam Durborough was finally arrested for interrogation on October 10, 2020. The news shook the residents of South Salt Lake City, leaving them with bittersweet emotions. Will the detectives be able to make him reveal why and what led him to commit such a heinous crime? Let's focus and see exactly how the detectives will try to extract the truth from him.
Adam, that's right?
Yes.
And then do you have a middle initial or name?
Antonio Spencer.
Okay. Where does Spencer come from?
That's actually my birth name was Antonio Spencer.
Oh, okay. And last name then is Durborough?
Durborough, yeah.
Durborough.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
Durborough.
Delta Uniform Romeo, Bravo, Oscar, Romeo, Oscar, Whiskey.
Okay. Do you have a relationship? I know we talked a little bit about your adopted parents, and you asked me about your father. Do you have a relationship with those parents anymore?
I do, yes.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we parents and kids, and of course,
sure.
I have a different personality than them, so we butt heads a lot, but I do care for them.
Sure. I think that's with a lot of us, though. Adopted or not, I think kids and parents butt heads quite often.
What were you into before Dungeons and Dragons?
Honestly, I didn't really, other than reading video games, working, I just kind of, that was it. I just worked, came home, just did my best.
What other things do you do other than just video games?
I like to read. I have a few books.
Yeah? Are you big into like sci-fi?
More of a fantasy.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a nice thing.
Kind of takes you out of this world, huh?
Oh yeah. It's kind of lets you just forget stuff sometimes. Yeah.
Right. You do podcasts?
I listen to a few. Yeah.
Okay. What one?
Critical Role. So that's a live action Dungeons and Dragons one. I did try Irony, Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah.
I listened to some of those for a while. Never really got into them though.
No. We'll go ahead and get started. And I know we kind of had a conversation in the car a little bit as well. You have any idea why you're here today, Adam?
Pretty solid idea.
Okay. And I'll tell you right up front, I'll be 100% honest with you, okay, about everything. And if you have questions, if I can answer them, and I'll answer them for you. If I can't, or if they're stuff that's just confidential right now, I'll just say I can't, it's confidential information, stuff like that. But I'll be 100% honest with you about everything, okay?
As the investigator asks Adam about his background, Detective Pender is ready to delve deeper, and he wants to get to the bottom of the matter.
I'm not here to trip you up or lie to you or cause any problems or anything like that. The reason you're here today is you're here because of the Sherry Black case. We don't have you here because we're wondering if you did it or not. I know you did it, okay? I've been working this case for over 5 years. You've probably even seen me on TV before working this case, but I've been very active in this case, and today's the day really that I wanted to try to have an opportunity to talk to you about the why. It's not a matter of who, it's about the why. And listen, I know about your past a little bit. I know about your juvenile history. I know you had a very difficult upbringing, I believe, and maybe I'm wrong, but what I could see, it seems to me that you've kind of had a tough time in your juvenile years, and as you got older, you clearly have matured and you've changed your ways. And I can't imagine this, carrying this around with you for all these years. That would just be extremely difficult, and I can't imagine what you've gone through to have to bear this burden that occurred. If you don't want to talk, you don't have to talk, but I just want to tell you a little bit. I want to talk to you, so I'm not asking you any questions right now. I'm just telling you a little bit about this case. Clearly this was somebody's mother. This was somebody's grandmother. And I think during those times when you were younger and stuff, I think he kind of took off on a bad road. But I think as you were younger and stuff, I think you kind of were exposed to different things that kind of, I think, pushed you that way too. With your mother, I think your mom has a little bit of history, and not that she's a bad mother. I just think some of the things that she was involved in and some of the people she was involved in, you probably were around and saw those types of behaviors. And as a young person, a lot of times we acclimate to that. I mean, if our parents are doing something and we think that might be okay, and in my opinion, I think that's what kind of happened here. Is I think you kind of took a different road, and things happened. And clearly, I think since that time, you've made some huge steps forward as far as changing your ways and trying to be a different person. And clearly, you have been, right. You haven't been. I can't see any type of history other than you had a couple of retail thefts as an adult. Other than that, I don't see anything there. So clearly you've been able to make some changes and positive changes in your life because of that. I can't imagine anybody else probably even knows about this. You've bottled this up inside for you for 10 years. I can't imagine holding a secret like that for 10 years without being able to talk to anybody about it and kind of get it off my chest and what have you. But you can continue down the path as when you were younger, when you were a juvenile. You can continue down that path. And yeah, it's an easier path right now. There's places to hide and things to, guard yourself a little bit from. Or you can make a change and decide, what, enough's enough. I've carried the burden long enough and I'm going to take the right path. And the right path, as you know, it is going to be a little bit bumpy at first, right? I mean, it's not an easy path to take. But I can tell you, over all the years I've been investigating homicide cases and cold case homicides and being in the same situation with you as I have been with other individuals sitting in that same seat that you're sitting in today, I can tell you when they get it off their chest, they feel a sense of relief and they feel a sense of some calmness in themselves with that, knowing that they've carried that burden around with them. I want to take the why and I want to provide that to the district attorney's office. I mean, clearly I have to screen this case with them. We've already been in contact with them, but I'm going to be screening this case with them this week. And I want to be able to go up there and say, listen, this is what happened. I mean, times were different for him than they are today. This is a different person today. And this is the explanation behind it. Versus just going up and saying, here's our case and we're going to charge him. To me, it makes a lot better sense to be able to provide the district attorney's office a why and kind of personalize you, right? I mean, you're not just anybody or a number. You're an individual, and I want them to see that about you. I truly feel bad for whatever happened to you in your younger years. I think you had a tough time with your mom and with people that she was associating with probably when she was here locally. And then you get in foster or get adopted, you get adopted. And then this situation with your adopted father happens. When I found that out, it's like, does this guy ever get a break? I truly did. I mean, I just feel like he goes probably from one situation that's not probably the best for a child to be in to another one where you think you're going into a good, wholesome, safe place. And then another situation happens. And it's like, where does this young man get a break at? I want to be able to talk to the family and tell them, listen, this is what happened and this is why it happened. And I can't promise you anything, but here's been my experience. People that cooperate, I tend to think judges, juries, families, people tend to be a little bit more willing to work with that. I don't want to pressure you. I'm not trying to force you to do anything. You, at the end of the day, you're going to make your own decision because like I said, I know coming here in the car, you said if you're going to talk to me about anything, I want legal representation and you are entitled to that for sure. Absolutely you are. It's something I couldn't do today. I would have to go and obviously book you into jail and charge you today with that. But again, I would like the opportunity to be able to go up to the district attorney's office this week and be able to personalize this a little bit with them and explain a little bit more of kind of what was going on in that time in your life. And, again, there might be somewhat of an explanation for all of this too.
Adam's silence indicates him accepting the truth, but will he be able to confess to the crime?
Just trying to think.
Sure. Take your time.
When you guys stopped me today, I knew. I mean, I haven't done anything else in my life. But I definitely felt some relief, which sounds odd. I mean, if it's hurt so much for years, why not just come forward, right? But it's just been one of those things where it's like, I have so many people in my life now that I just didn't want to. That's so selfish.
It's not. I know it sounds like it is, but it's really not, Adam.
This family's been, I see them, they ask for answers, not just been. It's been a long 10 years. Probably shouldn't say this without a lawyer, but honestly, it's just, they do need to know. I went into that store, and I had no intention at all to do anything. This is a bookstore, I love books. It was just, I don't know, I was just looking through. There's no one else in the store. And it'd been a rough week, I remember that. I was being told I wasn't making the progress that they wanted to see. My mom was super stressed out. She was afraid that I was just going to be another number in the system again. And I was so angry, and I don't know, I just lashed out. It just happened. She was there, and it's a mistake that I wish every day that I had never ever made. I was young, I was stupid, I was so angry, I was so confused. It wasn't personal, it wasn't planned, it was spontaneous, and I'm sorry that I did it. Not just that I've been caught for doing it, but I am sorry that I did it. I wish I could take it back.
I'd like to talk to you a little bit more about this, but before I do, obviously I'd have to read you your Miranda rights. And like I said, I know we had talked about this in the vehicle, and you specifically said that, if you're going to ask me any questions, I'd want some representation. Have you changed your mind? Are you willing to talk to me right now about this and allow me to ask some questions about this?
Yeah, well, I'll answer as much as I can right now.
Okay. Do you understand your rights as I've explained them to you?
Yes.
Are you willing to talk to me and Detective Child here without consulting a lawyer or having a lawyer present with you?
Yes.
If there's something that I ask and you don't want to answer, just say I don't want to answer. Is that fair?
That's fair.
Okay.
Adam's instant confession reveals his guilt. He appears remorseful for his actions. Adam is cooperative and willingly accepts to proceed with the interrogation. Detective Pender wants to know the exact details and the motive that drove Adam to such extreme lengths.
The first question I have is, do you have any ties? Did you ever have any ties to that bookstore? Had you ever been there before?
No, that was the first time.
That was your first time?
I'd been by it a couple of times. I just never really gone in before.
Okay. And how did you know the bookstore was there?
There was a sign up front.
Okay.
I don't remember what the sign said, but I do remember there being a sign.
At the very beginning of kind of the day, that's around the time, and just kind of walk me through of, how did you get there? I mean, those types of things. I mean, to get me into the bookstore. Where did you come from?
Start of the day, or?
Let's start the day. Let's start that day of what you can remember.
I think it was a Tuesday.
Okay.
Tuesday or Thursday. I had therapy that day. I remember that. Yeah, I left the foster home, just took the bus. I was thinking for a while. Like I said the day before, it was just Proctor parents had the talk with me. They weren't super happy. My mom was super disappointed, super worried about me. But I remember I got off the bus and I was just walking and walking for a while. It wasn't long before the therapy session when I saw the building and looked at the time, figured I had enough time to just try to just look around for a bit. So I entered the store. Asked if she had a particular book series in stock. She didn't. I didn't realize that she specialized in certain kinds of books. So, but I decided to look around anyways because I love books. I couldn't really just get into any of them. I was just stewing, just kind of silently fuming, I guess. She was concerned. She walked over and asked if everything was fine. Told her it was fine. I didn't need any help at the time. She smiled and turned away. And there was just a pair of scissors nearby. And I picked them up, and I hit her. I just hit her in the back of the head. And it's just kind of, I couldn't tell you. I was so angry. I don't know why. Just so angry and just so, I ran out of that store. I'm surprised nobody saw me. I was just running. I don't know if I had blood I don't remember if I had any blood on my face or anything, but I just ran. I didn't stop until I got to my therapist's office. Just like a 10, 15 minute run, I think. I didn't realize what I had done until I was in the bathroom just scrubbing. So I was actually, my current Proctor family was on vacation and they didn't take me, so I was with another family in Magna.
In Magna.
Okay. So I took the bus from Magna.
And then how did you get up to their residence?
I took another bus.
And then where did you get off from that bus?
I don't remember. Like I said, I got off at one point and then just walked.
Okay. Were you thinking about going to the bookstore, or
no? I didn't.
You were just going on the bus.
Yeah. I just, like I said, I've never really noticed it before.
Okay. So you go into the bookstore. How did you enter into the bookstore? From what door?
Someone I left, so I assume just the front one.
The front door. Okay. Yeah. What does that face? As far as what area does that face? Does it face the street? Okay. So you go to that door. In that door, it's open.
It was open, yeah.
Okay. Was a sign on or anything indicating that it was open?
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe it was a flip sign.
So you go into the store. Anybody else there?
No, it's just me and her.
Just you and her. You and Sherry. Okay.
Me and Sherry.
So you go in there, you kind of start looking around. You asked her about a series. What series did you ask her that you were looking for, book-wise? Do you remember?
No.
And she said she didn't have whatever that series was?
Yeah.
Okay. So you kind of just started looking around the store. Okay. And I know this is the tough part, but this is where we need to dive in a little bit deeper with what actually happens inside of the store. I know you said you had grabbed the scissors. You hit her in the head. Was she facing away from you when you hit her in the head?
Yes. I'm sure you know the layout of the place.
Right.
But it was not in the main area where the cashier station was.
Okay.
It was kind of that secondary room where the two tables were.
Okay. Is it the secondary room behind the cash register, or is it the other secondary room?
The other secondary
room. Okay.
Not the one behind the register.
Okay. So you go into that secondary room and she's in there?
No, she wasn't in there.
Okay.
She actually came up to me and asked if everything was okay.
Right. Right.
Probably had just a really big frown on my face.
Sounds like she kind of sensed that something was bothering you probably too, huh?
Yeah. That's where I attacked her.
So you attacked her in the back room? You said that secondary room?
In that kind of, that side room.
Okay. So I just want to make sure I understand it. So you had mentioned you grabbed the scissors and you hit her in the head. And I said, did you hit her in the head in that secondary room? Is that accurate to say? Or was she not back there yet?
No, she was back there.
She was back there. Was her back towards you then? What was she doing in there?
She was turning away, like to walk back towards the main area.
When this initially takes place, where are you, in the main area of the store, or are you guys now in the back, into one of the secondary rooms?
No, we're in the main area.
You're in the main area. Okay. So she's walking away, and you said you grabbed some scissors. Where did you see the scissors at?
They were on the table, on one of the tables next to me.
Okay.
They were heavy scissors, very thick.
Okay. How big? Can you kind of give me an idea
they were almost yay big.
So you're kind of putting your hands out like about, I'm estimating,
shorter.
6 to 8 inches?
Yeah.
Okay.
They were like those heavy shearing scissors.
Right. Okay. Do you remember the color of them?
Silver.
And just all silver? Any other color on them?
Just silver.
Just silver. Okay. So you said you'd hit her with the scissors?
Several times.
Several times. And that's as she's walking away from you?
Yeah.
Okay. What is she doing at this time?
She screamed. I don't remember everything here. I've tried. Because there are parts, in the news, there was a report that you found my belt, and I was like, I don't remember ever taking off my belt, but here we are.
Was that your belt?
I think so. I don't know.
Well, did you later realize you didn't have a belt on that day?
Well, no, that's the thing. Like, I had a belt, because, I ran, and I used to wear baggy pants.
Okay.
And running in baggy pants without a belt is just impossible. That has always thrown me. I don't remember taking off any belt, but you guys said that you found a belt at the scene, so I've always just kind of been like...
I'm sure you've seen the belt on the news and all over. Is that your belt?
No, I wore studded belts. It was a phase.
So you don't think that was your belt?
I don't think it was, no. The kind of belts I wear are the kind I'm wearing now, and then back then studded belts.
Okay. Is there a reason why your DNA would be on that belt?
I touched it at one point, honestly, but I don't remember. At one point, I do remember I picked up, it was by her, like, sort of her cashier station. It was this bottle. And I picked it up and hit her over the back of the head with it.
Okay. And where is she at that time when you're hitting her over the head?
She's on the ground at this point.
And
still in that area.
In the main area of the bookstore?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I just punched her in the chest a couple times. Pushed on her chest and just felt something I don't know,
I know this is really hard for you, Adam, and I really appreciate your willingness and your truthfulness.
Adam's motive is so shocking and odd that it seems difficult to believe. But Detective Pender knows there might be another hidden motive behind this gruesome act.
Right? I wouldn't have expected you at the age of 19 to turn yourself in, or 20 or 21. I just wouldn't.
I don't remember when, but I tried to cut her throat open. You remember that? Same scissors. I didn't put myself inside her. I didn't have sex with her. I don't remember how I cut myself or when I cut myself. I do remember I was bleeding from my hand somewhere for sure. That's all I remember.
So when you talked about taking off her bra, and then you said you just looked at her. At this point, what is Sherry doing?
Sherry's dead.
She's dead. When you leave, do you take anything from the store?
No.
No books? No money? Nothing?
I ran.
Just ran. You initially go back here and she's walking away from you, that's right. So she's already gone through that back door?
Yeah.
And that's the first time you hit her with the scissors? Okay. So everything else then occurs here?
Yeah.
Okay. Does she fall right to the ground initially?
No, she staggered. So I hit her several times.
How many times do you think? Just an approximate time.
I don't know, man.
More than 10?
Possibly.
Possibly more than 10? And at some point she just collapses then? Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to kind of get a picture of when does she actually pass? Is that before or after you're cutting your throat?
I wish I could say. Honestly, I don't remember. I don't know.
Adam agrees to write a letter of apology to the victim's family to take responsibility for what he did. His confession also displays that he seems to have worked on himself to become a better person, especially as he has never involved himself in any other crime after Sherry's murder.
Would you be willing to write the family a letter of apology?
Oh.
I mean, that stuff means a lot to people, and to be able to hear that from you. I mean, you don't need to talk about details, but would you be willing to just, kind of express your...
You work with a family. Is that something they'd want for me?
Yeah, it means a lot to families. I had another case many years ago, and actually the family, the husband was already deceased. It was the wife that had passed away in this incident, and they just had extended family. But even with the extended family, it really meant a lot coming from him. Just show that the person had taken responsibility and actually was remorseful for what happened.
Sure.
I'll step out for a little bit and give you some time. Okay. All right. Thank you. You all done?
Yeah.
Okay. You mind signing it there at the bottom for him? Any other cases out there?
No.
This is it?
This is it.
Okay. No other things you were involved with after this occurred that would catch up to you or anything?
It's what I've earned. Going forward is what I've earned, but my whole life ahead of me is just going to be behind walls. There's really nothing I can do about it because I was young and stupid. Didn't think, where will this take me on the road? It's just my life now. I really am sorry. This is a decision that just rocks so many people's lives. Just mine. It's every day. I've driven down the freeway, seen her face. Just every year, I'm like, that should just do it. Just turn yourself in. Just get it over with. But then I look at everything I worked for. I'm like, I can't just throw this away. I worked so hard for this. I've come so far. I can't just throw it away, even if I should.
You're going to put your hands behind your back?
Adam's troublesome relationship with his parents, his juvenile record, and his years of conflict and piled up aggression are what turned his life upside down and have now led him behind bars. In October of 2020, Adam was taken to South Salt Lake Adult Detention Center, where he was booked with a homicide charge.
After a shocking and baffling homicide, prosecutors today charged an Orem man with aggravated murder in the death of South Salt Lake grandmother Sherry Black. Today, Salt Lake County District Attorney Sim Gill revealed how DNA evidence finally cracked this decade-long cold case.
I think there is a sense of certain relief because when you have a murder and the murderer suspect is not identified, then there is always this unknown that's in our community. So I think there is a great sense of relief.
A year later in 2021, Adam entered a guilty plea for murdering Sherry Black in 2010. On February 23, 2022, Adam was officially given a life sentence without the possibility of parole.
Sherry Black was found beaten and stabbed to death in her bookstore in South Salt Lake on November 30th, 2010. Today, the man responsible for her death was sentenced to life without parole.
It's not a joke that I killed Vicky Cushman, all right?
Nobody thinks it is.
Stop. All right.
Take a break. Okay. Come on, Todd.
On August 11th, 1989, Victoria Cushman, a 29-year-old employee at an alpine ski and dive shop located in Warwick, Rhode Island, failed to report to work. She had always informed her coworkers when she was going to miss work, so some of her colleagues went to check and see if she was all right once their shift was done. Upon reaching Victoria's apartment, they saw something they didn't expect. The door to Victoria's apartment was wide open, and her body was lying lifeless in the living room. What would unfold would be a long and twisted story that would take years to reach a conclusion. Who could have killed Victoria, and what reason could they have had for doing so? This case takes us to Warwick, Rhode Island. Warwick is a city in Kent County and is also the third largest city in the state. It is also a place that is filled with lush green trees, beautiful beaches, and a variety of adventure sports companies. One such company, Alpine Ski and Dive Shop, was located in this area. It was here that Victoria Cushman was employed in 1989 when she was tragically killed. Victoria Cushman, also called Vicky, was born in 1960. Although we don't have much information about her early life, we do know that Victoria had an outgoing and friendly personality. We also know that she had previously served in the U.S. Army before she began working at the Alpine Ski and Dive Shop. By 1989, Victoria had reached the age of 29 but was unmarried. She had been in a few relationships, but nothing seemed to work out for her. At the Alpine Ski and Dive Shop, she worked in sales. Victoria found the job very exciting since she loved to socialize, and this allowed her to meet new people through the many customers that came to the store. She was very friendly, which made her popular with her coworkers as well. When her shift ended, Victoria would go back home to an apartment complex that was located right next to her workplace. There, she lived alone and was looked upon as a self-sufficient woman. She was also very consistent and conscientious in her work. The Alpine Ski and Dive Shop where Victoria worked was a very popular location in 1989 since it had a large selection of sports equipment. It was a frequent destination for people who were looking to purchase the latest sports equipment, and for this reason, many young men and women were employed there. One of the many customers who frequently visited was Scott Hornoff. Scott Hornoff was a 27-year-old police officer in Warwick, Rhode Island. He was a member of the Warwick Police Scuba and Underwater Assault Team. Though we do not have further information about Scott and his history, we do know that he was married and also had an infant child when he first met Victoria. Scott would often come to the ski and dive shop to buy sports gear for his team, since he worked with the scuba and underwater assault team. He would also go there to buy sports gear for himself. While at the store, he often portrayed himself as a very decent man. His good-natured personality was one of the many things that caught the attention of many young women, especially Victoria. Scott was also an attractive man, and over time Victoria began to develop feelings for him. The first time Victoria met Scott was at the deck of the Coast Guard house in Narragansett. Later he would come to the shop. Whenever he'd come to the store, she would go over and try to help him out with whatever he needed. Scott found Victoria to be an attractive young lady. Despite him having a wife and a child, it didn't take long for the two of them to start an unofficial relationship after they got to know each other. This happened in the summer of 1989. During this time, Scott and Victoria would often meet, and the two seemed pretty close to one another. Scott would also park his vehicle near the apartment where Victoria lived. On days when Scott wasn't around or was busy with his work, Victoria would confide her feelings to her friend, who worked with her at the Alpine Ski and Dive Shop. Victoria would often mention that she wanted to have stability in their relationships and one day become a wife to the man she loved. It was clear to her friends that Victoria had fallen in love with Scott, but everything changed for Victoria on that fateful day of August 11th, 1989. On this fateful day, everything seemed pretty normal at the Alpine Ski and Dive Shop. There were plenty of customers, and things were busy as ever, but Victoria was nowhere to be found. She did not report to work at all that day. Victoria had always been extremely reliable when it came to her work, so this unexplained absence was highly unusual. There were days when she wasn't well, but still made an effort to show up, so this made Victoria's co-workers and employer worried as to why she hadn't shown up to work. So two of them made it a point to go and check on her after their shift ended. They both made their way to Victoria's apartment, which was right next to their workplace. As they reached her apartment, they noticed that the door was wide open. As they stepped into the house, they witnessed the most gruesome and horrifying scene they had ever seen. They saw Victoria's body, bloody and lifeless, lying on the floor of the living room. They were so terrified by what they saw that they called the Warwick Police Department right away to report the crime. Victoria's body was found in the living room near an open window above the front porch roof when the police arrived at the scene. Her head was bloodied and beaten. She was lying face down and slightly to the side. Her lips were also bruised. On further investigation, the investigators discovered that the window's screen was open. A pair of inverted yellow rubber gloves and a fire extinguisher were also found close to her body. The police initially believed, based on a cursory inspection of the scene, that a potential burglar had climbed the pipe from the exterior part of the house and entered the apartment through the porch window. Victoria might have been hit with the fire extinguisher there, and then the perpetrator ran away. Dr. Henry Lee, who was a noted criminalist at the time, also found a smear of blood on the lock of the screen window. Could this just have been a burglary gone wrong? Or was there something else to the story? Well, an autopsy was conducted on Victoria's body to see if she had been sexually assaulted, but that was ruled out. The only evidence they had was that Victoria received a violent blow on the head that fatally killed her in an instant. There were also marks around her throat that showed that the assailant had choked her before instantly killing her. Who could have committed the crime? Since there were no signs of forced entry or struggle, it was believed that Victoria had known who the perpetrator was. The news of Victoria's murder shocked the residents of Warwick. But what was even more terrifying for them was that there was a killer on the loose and that there was not yet a suspect in the case. The investigators and police officers of Warwick were trying everything they could to find their potential suspect. They were looking for someone who could have been personally acquainted with Victoria and visited her late at night, since, as per the testimony from Victoria's neighbors, they had heard a distinctive footstep during the wee hours of August 11th, 1989. However, they were not certain about who it could have been. While investigating other acquaintances who knew Victoria, the police found something that would be crucial to the murder. It was a letter. Victoria had written the letter, which reflected her feelings and longing for Scott Hornoff, the same person she had kindled a flame with a month ago. According to the letter, Victoria was requesting that Scott not leave her alone, and it was evident that Scott and Victoria were having an affair. The words Victoria used in the letter showed that she had real deep emotions for him. But Scott seemed to have wanted their affair to end, since he was already a married man and had also recently welcomed a child into his family. Despite the gravity of Scott's situation, Victoria seemed to be fixated on him based on the contents of the letter, as she declared her deepest emotions and revealed that she wasn't bothered that he had a wife or even a child. As soon as the police officers went through this letter, they immediately turned their gaze onto Scott. Was it possible that Scott, a fellow officer of the law such as themselves, had killed Victoria? The police needed to know how Scott and Victoria were acquainted before they could say for sure that he was the one who killed Victoria. The first person they contacted was Jack Oscarson. Jack was Scott's co-worker while also being on his diving team, and the two of them were always together. Jack revealed that Victoria had asked to meet him and talk about Scott's marriage before she was found dead in her apartment. She inquired about Scott's happiness in his marriage. To this, Jack replied that he simply didn't have the foggiest idea. This made it abundantly clear that Victoria was in love with Scott. The next people police spoke to were Victoria's colleagues, Joanne Archetto and Carrie Martin. Right from the beginning of Scott and Victoria becoming a thing, Victoria would often discuss and share her feelings with Joanne Archetto and Carrie Martin while they were working together. Even though Scott was married, Victoria did say that she and him had been in an unofficial relationship and that things looked good. Carrie said that Victoria often talked about Scott and that she was sure that the two of them were getting closer. Another witness, an East Greenwich police officer named Donald Mong, claimed that he frequently saw Scott and Victoria at the Alpine Ski and Dive Shop together. He also said that he saw Scott's car almost constantly parked at Victoria's apartment, far from the Alpine property where customers and dive team members typically park to fill their heavy scuba tanks with oxygen. Victoria made it clear just a few days before she passed away that she and Scott had a solid relationship and shared common ground. However, things started to change on August 8 or 9 of 1989. Victoria informed her friends that Scott wanted to break up with her. The reason? He wanted to spend time with his family. According to reports, Scott had even shown her that he wasn't available by bringing his wife and their newborn child to the alpine ski and dive shop where Victoria worked. Victoria appeared to have written the letter to Scott after seeing Scott with his family. The police and investigators were able to conclude from all of these pieces of evidence that Scott Hornoff and Victoria Cushman had been in a forbidden relationship before the tragic day, and that Scott could very likely have something to do with her death. Scott was at work when he got word that someone had been killed. When he asked who the casualty was, he was stunned to find out that it was Victoria Cushman. But before he could gather up the courage to face this tragic news, he was asked to meet the detective who had already been assigned the case. When the detective met Scott, he asked him a number of questions regarding Victoria and the nature of their relationship. In the beginning, Scott was asked if he knew Victoria and if he was romantically involved with her. Scott then replied, saying that he knew who Victoria was, but with regard to the relationship, he simply denied it. After giving his statement, Scott was then asked about his whereabouts from August 10th to August 11th, 1989. To this, Scott replied, saying that he was at a party that had been hosted by Ray Gallucci, who was also a Warwick police officer, and his colleague. He further revealed that he attended the party along with his wife and their infant son. He elaborated that at around 11 p.m., his wife left with the baby before he finally decided to leave with David, his brother. David, Scott's brother, had apparently dropped Scott off at the front door of his house before leaving. Scott was then asked if he had consumed any sort of alcohol, and to that he replied that there were alcoholic beverages available around the party. After hearing this statement from Scott, the detective wanted to conduct further research to determine if he was really telling the truth. The detective and his team who were assigned the case then found and made a list of the people who attended the party and started interrogating them regarding the whereabouts of Scott. The team wanted to know everything there was to know about the night Victoria was murdered. Further research done by detectives had them interrogate David, who was Scott's brother. David was also at the same party that Scott attended. When asked about the party, David revealed that Scott was in fact drinking during the party, but didn't seem drunk like the others. He later added that he dropped Scott off at home after 11 p.m. Other additional witnesses also came forward and confirmed that Scott was not intoxicated and that he was in a very good mood. Deborah, who was the party's hostess, was also interrogated. She gave the police more information, saying that she saw Scott come back to the party between 1 and 2 a.m. and then leave with a pack of cassettes. She likewise added that Scott looked exceptionally pale and dazed compared to how he had been before he left with his brother. After the detective and the police officers had finished recording all of these testimonies, they broke down the timeline between the moment he left the party and when Victoria was killed. Surprisingly, they discovered that the time period corresponded precisely. This was another step closer to building a case against Scott, whom the detectives were now beginning to suspect more and more. After the detectives got all the information from all the witnesses, he made sure to interrogate Scott once again. Scott was asked if he knew Victoria Cushman well and if he had any romantic relationship with her. The statement recorded during this time was different from what the detectives heard. This time, Scott agreed that he knew Victoria and confirmed that he did have a romantic relationship with her. He was further asked if he remembered returning to the party as Deborah had stated earlier in the interrogation. To this, he confirmed that he had in fact gone back home with his brother, but on remembering that he had a few cassettes left at the party, he made his way back to retrieve all of them before finally leaving once again. By this time, the detectives had accumulated a lot of evidence against Scott. Other evidence found at the crime scene, like the smear of blood and DNA from the gloves that lay on the floor, were also collected. But the problem was that during that time in 1989, matching the suspect via a DNA test wasn't readily available, so they had to rely on whatever other evidence they had found. To be sure, the Warwick police conducted 2 polygraph tests on Scott while interrogating him, but he passed. But even then, despite this fact, the detectives knew and had a gut feeling that it was him who killed Victoria. Scott, on the other hand, fought for his rights. He claimed that he did not kill Victoria. He even claimed several appeals against the motion, but it was all in vain. All of his appeals were denied. 5 years after the killing of Victoria Cushman in 1994, Scott Hornoff was arrested. The decision was made by the Rhode Island Attorney General because they transferred the case to the state police. Scott received a lifetime in prison and was charged with first-degree murder and assault. With Scott behind bars, everyone working on the case felt relieved because they had finally put the killer behind bars. But on the contrary to this, Scott wasn't satisfied with the verdict and was sure that he was innocent and was determined to prove it. His wife had divorced him, and he also lost his badge as a police officer. It felt like his whole life had suddenly fallen apart. The police had no evidence linking him to the murder, and there were no witnesses either. And despite him having an alibi, the police did not consider it. Scott was now in jail serving time for a murder he knew he had not committed. In 2001, a new type of technology emerged. It was DNA testing that allowed evidence found at a crime scene to be tested against the DNA of any suspect, so the suspect could be linked to the crime. On hearing this information, Scott requested that a DNA test be conducted. He was sure that he wasn't the one who was guilty. But despite his plea, the jury and the judge did not oblige. In 2002, it had been 13 years since Victoria Cushman was found dead in her apartment. The police believed they had got their man as Scott was in prison. Scott was already serving his 6th term in prison. With all his pleas denied, he felt like he had lost all hope of proving himself innocent. In September 2002, something happened that took the Warwick policemen by surprise. This was when a man walked into the police station and claimed that he was the one who killed Victoria. Everything about the case changed in an instant. Who was this man? Why would he confess to the crime after 13 years? And was he telling the truth? The man's name was Todd Barry. He was a married man and had 2 beautiful children at the time he walked into the police station and claimed that he was in fact the one who had killed Victoria on the night of August 11th, 1989. But when he confessed this, the police refused to listen to him because they already had Scott behind bars and were sure he was the culprit. It was in the month of November 2002 that Todd walked into the police station. The police officers made it a point to conduct a polygraph test as they took him in for an interrogation regarding the murder of Victoria. Before he was asked anything, Todd confirmed that he came in of his own free will and that no one had forced him to take such a step. Then the police asked him the main question: why, after all these years? His answer was simple. He said that he felt guilty. Todd revealed that he had been following up on the case right from the time Scott had been a suspect. He was also aware of the whereabouts of the case, but the fact that they got the wrong guy for the crime upset him. He revealed that during that time, he himself had tried to walk in and confess to the crime, but he did not have the courage. Todd was also asked about his relationship with Victoria, to which he revealed that he had been in a relationship with her prior to Scott.
So you had some dates, traditional dates, yeah. Dinner, a drink, whatever you want to call it, and then it became strictly a sexual relationship.
Victoria and Todd had apparently been in an on-again, off-again relationship until she finally met Scott. Throughout the entire interrogation, the police saw that Todd had in fact passed the polygraph test, so it could be that he was telling the truth. This baffled the police officers because they thought they had their guy. The most surprising aspect of the entire interrogation was the fact that Todd revealed everything about the murder, even the minute details that only the one who committed it would know. He revealed that on the night of the murder on August 11, 1989, he had gone to see Victoria at her apartment. Soon, the two of them started having a fight after he learned that Victoria had found another man. Angered by the confession, things soon got out of hand, which then led to her murder. To further prove the truth, the police officers of Warwick finally ran a DNA test on the smear of blood that was found at the crime scene. And when the results came out, it was a perfect match to Todd. On November 4, 2002, Todd was found guilty, and he was arrested for the murder of Victoria. He was sentenced to 10 to 30 years in prison. Today, Todd is serving his sentence in the Cranston Minimum Security Prison. He will be eligible for parole in 2025. This entire case of Victoria Cushman's murder cast a bad light on the Warwick and Rhode Island police departments. The fact that they had inadequately investigated the matter and sentenced an innocent man to life in prison was a terrible outcome. Todd Barry hadn't even been a suspect during their original investigation, even though he lived near Victoria's apartment. The investigators had found records of Victoria's telephone numbers, which also included Todd's, but never thought to suspect him. If it wasn't for Todd's conscience and his confession, Scott would still be in jail. It seemed like the detectives had had tunnel vision when it came to Scott after they had found the letter Victoria wrote to him. 4 months after Todd was found guilty in January 2003, Scott was released from jail and his crimes were exonerated. "6 years in jail is something no one wants to experience, but for Scott, those 6 years felt like a lifetime. When he was released, he made it a point to sue the entire police unit of Warwick and the state for wrongly convicting him of a crime he had never committed. In the contents of the case, he stated that the police had violated his civil rights. He also included the fact that the police force did not preserve evidence from the crime scene that could have cleared him of the crime. In 2006, just 4 years later, the city of Warwick agreed to pay Scott's lawsuit. The courts awarded him a $600,000 settlement and a disability pension of $64,057 per year. However, Hornoff's attorneys received $232,000 of the back pay, and his wife received the remaining amount.